Hey everybody, this is Roberto Blake helping you create something awesome today. Welcome to another YouTube live Q&A session. Today I'm actually going to kind of do a dry run rehearsal of my presentation that I'm planning for VidCon 2018. If you guys are not familiar, I'm going to be speaking at YouTube's conference VidCon, and it's not officially like YouTube's conference, but we all know it's the biggest YouTube conference of the year. Super excited. I'm going to be giving 3 presentations. The first one will be on mastering your content strategy, which I will be doing solo. Then I have a panel that I'm doing with my friends Karen Cavett and Charlie Marie. So that's actually really cool. And then the next and last session that I'll be doing at VidCon is my session on, well, it's a panel with myself, Daryl Eves, Tim Schmoyer, and Rab Sandy from VIDIQ. So if you guys are attending VidCon, you guys will get to see those presentations, and it's actually going to be a lot of fun. Guys, hang tight for just one quick second here. I need to actually respond to a delivery, but in the meantime, I want you guys to do me a favor and check out today's sponsor, which is VidIQ. They are sponsoring today's live stream Q&A, and this is actually one of the best Chrome extensions you can use for growing your YouTube channel. So guys, check out vidiq.com/Roberto. It's actually a great tool. I use it all the time. I'll be right back. Ugh. Okay, and I am back. Sorry about that. Just had to rush to the front door. I'm sure you guys know how that is during the live stream stuff. But yeah, ultimately, I feel that there are a lot of great tools out there for growing a YouTube channel. So I use as many of them as I can so that I can be educated for you guys about a little bit of everything. And there are a lot of people that will go a different direction with that. I just like to have what I would say is a good understanding of what it is you guys are already using so that I can give and offer perspective, and also so that I'm educated on multiple things instead of staying in a bubble of whatever I like the most. So, yeah, that's just something that I do differently. Whew. All right. So, today I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about my presentation on YouTube content strategy, and I still haven't put together the slide deck for this just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of run through a dry rehearsal of my overall presentation. Then I'm going to get some feedback from you guys. I'm going to answer some of your questions. And what I think I need to do is I think I might need to turn up the air conditioning real quick, because I think it's a little warm in here. This is like the one thing I don't have voice controlled. Everything else is pretty much automated at this point. Everything else is using smart technology, Philips Hue, things of that nature. Hey Siri, turn room blue.
Something's wrong. Please try again.
Sorry if I just triggered your lights wherever you're at, but I just feel like that's dope for me. So, I kind of like that. So, let's go ahead and go through mastering your YouTube content strategy in this live stream. And like I said, this is going to be a dry run because I don't script these as much as people think. I basically run through structure and, concepts. So, David, how are you? So ultimately, I want to run through these ideas and then I want to get feedback from you guys. And then probably this helps me with finishing my slide deck. That's also just good for those of you who are not able to attend. Now, also at the same time, there are other couple of housekeeping things. I plan to record this speaking engagement like I do most of my speaking engagements, especially since when I'm not being paid to speak, I feel like it's kind of like, do whatever I want. So that's one of the other things. Anyway, one of the things I'm going to do for this presentation with the slide deck is I'm kind of going to give them an overview of what to expect in the presentation. So in this presentation, there's going to be an introduction. So that's going to be me explaining who I am. I'm going to tell about creating content with a specific goal. I'm going to give 12 really quick growth hacks for people. It's like, okay, I'm going to give you upfront value. If you don't sit through anything else in the presentation, yada, 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 just here are 12 growth hacks for those of you who all you care about is getting more subscribers or more views, and you don't want the bigger overall higher level spiel. Here you go. Just do these things, right? Then I'm going to talk about sustainable content, then hub, help, and hero content, gateway content, content strategies for revenue, content strategies for audience growth, content strategies for media attention, things that don't work anymore, and then why you need to focus on brand consistency in your content strategy. And then the last part is resources. So that's basically the structure of my presentation overall. So that's what I'm going to be doing for this overall presentation that I'm doing at VidCon. And the thing is, timing wise, I need to get it to about 45 minutes and then have room for Q&A. So that's the approach. Yep. And so what I do is I always work off of a general outline, and that's kind of how I also structure my slide deck, just to kind of rein me in a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of try to run through that 45-minute presentation now, kind of rehearse it with you guys. Then I'm going to get some feedback from you, and then I'll answer some of your questions the way I would do a Q&A during a live Q&A session at the event. So let's start with an introduction. So for those of you who may not be, well, first of all, it would go like, good afternoon, VidCon. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing awesome. Fantastic. So my name is Roberto Blake. Show of hands, who here is not familiar with me and is not familiar with my content on YouTube? Show of hands, don't be shy. All right, wow, that's super flattering. That's that many of you actually know who I am. That makes this just a little bit easier. For the rest of you, I'm going to create some really quick context for you. This isn't going to be long because I don't want to take up more of your time talking about me. I'm here to mostly talk about what I can do for you guys. So I am a YouTube creator that focuses on entrepreneurship and education. I came from the background prior to YouTube of actually creating stuff for a living. I grew up with, the mentality of watching a lot of people in my family be starving artists or not being able to make a living doing what they want, and I decided that's not going to be me. So I ended up building my career in graphic design, went to school for it, Graduated with zero debt because I paid cash, and then that's where applause comes in. And ultimately, I found that there were aspects of my career that I was dissatisfied with. Went into marketing in the corporate world, climbed the ladder, was dissatisfied with that too. So having achieved most of my professional goals and dreams in my 20s, I decided to have the audacity to want to be an entrepreneur. And part of my whole idea was that I wanted to teach other people how to have the skills that I have without them necessarily having to rack up a lot of student loan debt. I wanted to teach people that they could freelance and hustle and do things they care about, make money on them, and things of that nature. So where'd I go? I went eventually from blogging and writing articles to doing YouTube videos about these things, not really expecting anything out of it, not people expecting that many people, just whoever wants to learn how to use Photoshop or how to use Premiere Pro or how to build a website or, how to start freelancing. I didn't expect a lot out of this. And ultimately, there was a lot of traction, I think, around the how-to and tutorial content space because I was giving real-world advice, and eventually I wasn't boring, and eventually I didn't suck in terms of my on-camera presence, and I started to pull back the layers of my personality after a while. I think it made a big difference in my channel. I didn't even change really as much the type of content that I was doing. It was just that I changed the delivery, and by revealing more of my personality and changing delivery, I saw growth. And then there were minor tweaks I did to my content strategy that ultimately built growth with my YouTube channel. So where we're looking at is, I would say, the first 2 years on YouTube, it took me about that time to get to 20,000 subscribers. I got to the first 10,000 within about 12 months, and then another 12 months I doubled that. But all of a sudden, between February of 2015 and the end of that same year, I went from 20,000 subscribers to over 75,000 subscribers. And you know what happened? I didn't have a single viral video. I didn't have a viral video. My content didn't blow up. There was no snowball effect. What it was a combination of quality and quantity that ultimately allowed me to do that. It was the difference of quality, quantity, and focusing on my content strategy that allowed me to grow and do that. And the thing is, I wasn't necessarily focused on growing the YouTube channel as much as I was focused on doing the content that I thought needed to exist in the places that I was doing it and the people that I was doing it for. So you fast forward, and what the result was is that in 5 years of doing YouTube, I went from 0 to over 300,000 subscribers. Year after year, after getting that first pretty much 50 additional K in another year, I got to a point of doubling up after that and adding 100,000. And because I didn't do it by going viral, because I didn't do it by having a snowball effect and there was no breakout video for me, it meant that I figured out strategies that actually work. It's slow growth, but it is consistent. But it does require discipline, and it requires focus. It doesn't require you to be the most charismatic person in the world. It doesn't require you to be the best video editor in the world. It doesn't require you to be really the best at anything, so much as it requires you to show up, be consistent, and add something new to the conversation. So that's going to be the focus of this content strategy mastery session, because I think that there are a few things that many of you could do with your YouTube channels that will make all the difference in the world to you. Because that's what happened with me, and what's happened literally with thousands of other creators that have used these strategies and these tips that I'm going to give you. So, sound good so far? Awesome. Let's move on. So, one of the most important things you can do for your YouTube channel is you have to understand something very, very important. You have to understand something insanely important, and that is that your content has to have a specific goal. Your content has to have a specific goal. You cannot expect one video to do everything for you. You can't expect one video to do everything for you. Not every video is going to be able to do the combination of bringing in tons of views, converting those views to subscribers, making you money, and being advertiser friendly. So ultimately, you have to pick a priority. You have to decide whether or not This video is a video that is meant to get attention and a bunch of views, even if it doesn't make people stick. Or you have to decide if this is the video that is going to get people to subscribe to you, because it can't always do both. Or you have to do a video that puts you in a really good position to get attention from a brand so that you can go ahead and get product from them, or, that you can build that relationship and get a sponsorship from them, or that they can give you an opportunity. So ultimately, you have to pick a priority for this video content, and you have to build out strategies to say, you know what, I have this type of content that does this thing, I have this type of content that does this thing, and I have this type of content that does another thing. You have to pick and you have to choose. And this is also why it's really good, if you can do it, to put out 3 to 5 videos a week, because it means you have enough content sitting there in your catalog to do the work that you need it to do in all of the different goals that you have. Because you know what? It's awesome having views. It's also having subs. But what's also really cool is getting brand deals and sponsorships. And sometimes the videos that can get you a brand deal and a sponsorship are not going to get views from the regular audience. It's not going to get you subscribers. But what it is going to do is it's going to put you on the radar of that marketing manager, that person at a company that can do something for you. What it's going to do is it's going to get you that opportunity that you're looking for with someone in the business world, or it's going to get you that interview that you're looking for. So guess what? You have to build up a catalog that has enough videos to do the work in all of the different things that you want to happen. And guess what? You have to be real and realize you will not get there fast if all you can do is put out 1 video a week. If all you can do is put out 1 video a week, don't worry about brand deals. If all you can do is put out 1 video a week right now, don't worry about making money on YouTube. If all you can do is put out 1 video a week, your content strategy should be designed to do one thing. If you care about YouTube success, your content should be designed to do one thing: keep people on YouTube as long as possible. Don't link to your other social media. Don't tell them to follow you on Instagram. Don't tell them to follow you on Twitter. If you are just starting out on YouTube and you're in this session, and by the way, if you're just starting out on YouTube, I think this session might be a little advanced for you, and it's okay. You can watch other content on how to grow from 0 to 100, because if you are at under 1,000 subscribers, this is going to be very intimidating to you. All right? So you do, or if you haven't created at least a couple dozen videos, this is going to sound really intimidating to you. You need to focus. If you are a small creator and you don't have your first 100, you don't have your first 1,000 subscribers, you're under 10,000 subscribers, put all of your energy into making as much content as you can that keeps people on YouTube and keeps them on YouTube as long as possible, and do not worry about making money on your videos. I know that sucks to say, but you have a choice. You can try and cash out early, stifle the growth of your channel will take forever to grow, or your channel will die, or you can focus on building an audience. You cannot, at the very beginning, you cannot have the expectation or the desire to grow an audience and make money at the very beginning, unless you are capable of doing a massive amount of quality and quantity at the very beginning. You cannot have that expectation. And the thing is, a lot of people are reluctant to tell you that because they don't like getting criticized for being said, oh, well, don't get into it for the money and the easy for you to say conversation. So that's why people won't tell you that. But this is legitimate advice. You have to pick a priority. You have to focus on one thing at a time, and the first thing you need to tackle is growing an audience. If you haven't done that, if you've grown an audience and you have a couple thousand subscribers, you can start thinking about, how do I start positioning my content for my other goals, like monetization, like brand deals and relationships, like collabs with other creators. You can think about that if you already have an audience. Now, for those of you who didn't find that soul-crushing and devastating and don't want to quit YouTube, I have 12 really quick YouTube growth hacks for you that could just help you grow. Now, in your niche or whatever your category is, if you can find a way to make a few top 5 or top 10 videos, then that is very helpful to you. If you can do top 5 or top 10 videos, those often perform, and part of the reason is because they get shared in social media quite often. Sometimes they can be discovered by search. Second tip: get people to share your content, especially in Reddit. Specifically, having one viewer that is a beast in Reddit is worth having, is worth like, you want 100 viewers, you want 100 subscribers. Guess what? One subscriber that's a monster in Reddit is worth having like 100 subscribers. Trust me on this. Reddit is a great way to grow a YouTube channel, but you need other people to help you accomplish it. Number 3, make episodic content. Episodic content still does very well in YouTube because you can relate to your own other videos and you can keep people coming back video after video after video. So make episodic content. Number 4, respond to headlines or to popular videos or to trends. Response videos, reaction videos, these still perform really well. They help you get attention. They shouldn't be the foundation of your entire channel, but dipping into this every now and again when you're first getting started can really pull some audience to you. So as long as it still fits with your overall niche, it's okay to do it. Number 5, optimize your videos with tools like TubeBuddy, VIDIQ, and MORNINGFAME. Optimizing videos still ultimately matters. Number 6, accurate closed captions. I recommend rev.com. You can go to rev.com/Roberto. Link is in the description. You'll get $10 off. But, and in the presentation, it'll just be up there in a resources thing in a slide. But like rev.com, accurate closed captions. There are so many people that are ignoring the hearing impaired and the deaf community, and the thing is, they share content very regularly. They're active and they're very engaged with content. So ultimately, if you provide accurate closed captions, you will probably be the only person in your niche doing that, which means you'll have the loyalty of this audience that is extraordinarily loyal and is very grateful to have videos that are closed captioned accurately. By the way, for those of you just tuning in, I'm doing kind of a dress rehearsal of my VidCon presentation, so I'm not answering any questions. So if you feel like I'm ignoring you, it's like I stated this in the beginning of the video, and even the title gives it away that this is me running through the presentation that some of you won't be able to see at VidCon if you're not attending. So this is a dress rehearsal of the presentation that I'm giving at VidCon. So I'm not answering your questions. And people in the comments, please keep them up to date on that so that I don't lose my train of thought, because I don't want to have to double back on this stuff. I'm also trying to check this for timing. Tip number 7. Film product reviews and tweet them at the brands. If you film product reviews and you tweet them at the brands, then there's a really good chance that you might get a retweet out of that, or you might get on the brand's radar, and so they might be able to hook you up with product, or they might be able to give you some more exposure or decide to work out something with you. So make product videos and then tweet them at the brands. That also, those product videos by themselves can bring in search traffic. Number 9, collab with people smaller than you. Everyone wants to scramble and wants to have the expectation that a big YouTuber is going to collaborate with them. A big YouTuber, if they don't know who you are, if you haven't built a personal relationship, and then you don't have a large enough audience, there's not a lot in it for them to collab with you per se. But if you look at somebody that's a little bit smaller than you or a lot smaller than you, you could absorb a lot of their audience. The other thing is, even if you do collab with a larger YouTuber, if your production values don't match theirs, your quality of content, your type of audience doesn't match theirs, there's little chance that those people are going to flock to your channel and convert. You might have one video that kind of blows up, but it really won't necessarily translate to subscribers if all of those things don't work out. But what's much easier is if you have the small creators in your niche, if you have their back, then they'll be extremely grateful to you. They'll often share your content because somebody bigger reached out, and their audience will enjoy your content as well, and there's a chance you absorb the audience of the smaller creators under you a lot easier than people much bigger than you. So that's number 9. Number 10, use YouTube Analytics to find the content that grows your audience most on subs or on views, and then prioritize that content. Look at this, for every 30-day cycle. Look at this for 90-day cycles, yearly cycles, the lifetime of your channel. Do that. Content-wise, comparison videos and versus videos often do very well. A lot of people are trying to make decisions about things, or they are doing those comparisons in their head, so they really want to see what other people think. Even if you're not doing product reviews, I mean, just look at the series Death Battle from Screw Attack from an entertainment standpoint. Look at all the comic book channels that do these fantasy and versus scenarios. There's a way to do versus videos for almost anything, or comparison videos, even if you're not doing education or product related content. A lot of people think that this advice doesn't apply to them because I'm not in their niche in YouTube. This has worked universally across multiple niches. Number 12, thumbnails are probably the most important thing. Thumbnails and titles are the most important thing. They determine your overall click-through rate, which determines every other aspect algorithmically of what's going to happen at some point in your YouTube videos. I see a lot of creators that throw everything they have at making videos that they edit better and take forever on, or try to upgrade their camera gear, when the next step to getting more views and more subs would ultimately be by addressing your thumbnails and your titles first. If you optimize and you address and you make good thumbnails and good titles, there is a much better chance that you get clicks, get views, and then get subscribers. This is YouTube 101, and yet people ignore it. They put all their effort into editing videos and then put crappy, god-awful thumbnails out there and then wondering what's happening to them. So that's something that's reflected in the new click-through rate CTR analytics, so don't ignore it. Focus on your thumbnails and titles first, get that right, and then if people are complaining to you about the editing, if they're complaining to you about the video and audio quality, then you address that. So that's tip number 12. So those are your quick 12 YouTube growth hacks. You know, if this other content strategy stuff feels way too advanced or way too heady for you, you just got a ton of value out of those 12 things, and I will make more videos. I have videos on the channel addressing probably each of these things, but if not, I will make a video for anything that I haven't covered in detail. So there are your 12 growth hacks. Now, moving on this presentation, I think one of the most important things I can talk to you guys about from a content strategy standpoint is sustainable content. Sustainable content. And what do I mean by that? I'm talking about sustainable content from two perspectives. Content that is sustainable for you to keep making, and content that is sustainable in terms of this video isn't dead in 2 days. One of the things that is most challenging for YouTube creators, and that YouTube creators are suffering with at all levels, is this YouTube treadmill, where they put all this work and effort into something and it's only relevant for 1 to 2 days. It has a very short lifespan, and that's very discouraging. But there are types of content that have a longer lifespan. If you don't always follow trends, or you don't always do the latest thing, then there's more opportunity. And it's not just down to, oh, well, you can do how-to content because that's education, because that's your thing. The idea of sustainable content would be, if you're an entertainer, make a series. Make a mini-series if you're an entertainer. If you're an entertainer, make a mini-series, okay? So if you make a mini-series, that's sustainable, that's marketable, that's going to last. That's something you can throw a lot of effort into that's going to last. And you can always add a new video to the series later, or do an update, or do a part 2, or season 2, or season 3. Doing episodic content works and is sustainable. The other thing I would say in terms of sustainable is make content that is not financially crippling to make, or from a production standpoint, physically crippling to make, or that you can't produce on a regular basis, because that becomes a problem too. If you can't keep making this content and it's good and you've created demand and it's not something you can keep up with in terms of supply. YouTube is supply and demand. And if you create something that there's a demand for that you can't keep up with, you're just going to feel anxiety. So that's a problem. So make sustainable content. YouTube talks about 3 main types of content that exist: hub, help, and hero content. Hub content may not be that relevant to you if you're just starting out because you don't have an audience. But here's another perspective on it. Hub content could be content that is mainly focused or suitable for people in this niche, which would mean that if you're a Harry Potter fan, your content might be hub content, not just for your audience, but for the Harry Potter community. So think about that. So like I said, this is not just limited to education channels. Entertainers, this is something you can tap into pretty easily, because even if it's not your hub of your tribe, it can be a tribe. It can be a group. It could be Harry Potter people. It could be Star Wars people. It could be Dragon Ball people. It could be anime people. So it's different than, say, a niche, because, again, in this case, we're talking about, tapping into a piece of content that then focuses on targeting that group, meaning that it's not as generalized. Now, when it comes to help content, that's obvious. That's search-friendly content. That is, hey, I'm looking for this specific thing. Oh, I found it. Great. That's what I care about. And that's single-serving content in a way, and that's where, if you are a tutorial channel or you're a help channel, even if you niche down, don't expect and don't judge yourself on a good view to subscriber ratio, because it's not going to really happen. Hub content is hit or miss, because it's either you're doing content for your community or for a community. So there's that aspect of it. And then hero content could be enjoyed by anybody and is much more broad in spectrum. And this is a big video where you go all out, and that is something that would draw people in. And a video like this is not always what people think it is. Sometimes it's jumping out of an airplane. Sometimes it's having the latest iPhone. It's something that can get you mainstream awareness and the maximum amount of attention, and that anybody could watch or could share. That's how hero content works. This is something that can get you attention in the general internet community, mainstream media attention potentially, something that might have that viral potential, and it's a big deal. And it could even be something that you just invested a lot into in terms of either an experience or a production. Examples of this, these examples of this are once-in-a-lifetime moments or events, yearly moments and events, or the ability to have access to a weird or interesting experience, or something that is unfortunately wildly controversial that you can approach in a different way. So these are examples of your main types of content: hub, help, and hero content. The most easily accessible version is obviously help content. It's search engine friendly content. Hub content is for your ride or die fans. The easy version of hub content is, this is what vlogs are. Vlogs are people who are here for you and here for your personality, and they don't care what you do. Help content is people who want help with a specific thing, and this video serves that specific purpose. And then hero content is something that anybody who's a casual YouTube viewer or internet person could appreciate and could watch. So if you think about it in that way, hero content is for the average consumer. It's the thing that anybody could just tune into and immediately get it with no context on you, or would watch out of morbid curiosity. Search-friendly content is specific to their individual needs and wants, and so it's predicated on that. And then hub content is people who are there for you. So to make it very real for you guys, hero content, maybe this is something where you do a really polished, really fancy video around, and it's edited around an internet meme that's popular right now. Search content, how to tie your tie. Hub content, like, that's help content. Hub content is, what am I doing for lunch today? It's your vlog. So that's pretty much the gist of those three types of content. Now, strategically, your channel should probably balance these in some way, and it's going to be different based on what your niche or genre or type of channel is. Ultimately, vloggers prioritize a combination of hero and hub content with very little in the way of help content, unless they're in a specific genre. Like travel vloggers could easily balance all three of these in combination very easily. If you're a travel vlogger, you could have a once-in-a-lifetime experience and build something that's hero content, but you could siphon from that same experience the opportunity to make help videos around that for travel, but then also from a personal level, your audience relates to you as their travel tour guide, so there's hub built in, so that's practical. Now, that being said, you have to decide what the ratio of those things are, and then the thing is, financially, some of those things are more viable than the others. Now, with that in mind, if you're a small YouTuber and you're trying to grow, there's a such thing as gateway content, and the best gateway content is going to be either hero content or help content. Gateway content is either something that the general community would appreciate or would be specific by search. And this is what's going to grow you when you have zero. When you have 0 subscribers, you can't just decide, oh, I'm going to be a personality. And you can list to me all the examples of people who did that and everything like that. And I can list to you the millions upon millions of people who never made it. Okay? So you want to be a personality from day one on YouTube? Cool. Keep buying a lottery ticket. That being said, what's going to work is if you were a vlogger, the idea is you have to be a vlogger and, because people are going to be like, but Roberto, I'm a vlogger, so I can only do hub content. It's like, no, you're a vlogger and something else. You're a vlogger and you're a tech enthusiast. You're a vlogger and someone who, has a really solid sense of fashion or makeup. You're a vlogger and a gamer. You're a vlogger and a dancer. You're a vlogger and whatever else in your personality. And if you don't have a personality, I don't know why you're on YouTube. So again, this is like YouTube 101. This is so straightforward. This is very obvious, but at the same time, if it were so obvious, why is it people aren't doing it effectively? And it's because in general, people have gotten accustomed to seeing YouTube success after the fact and not seeing the progression. If you go back to the most successful people in YouTube in many of these niches and genres, where they started is not where they are now. What they started with was very straightforward and was not built on their personality. They had to start somewhere. PewDiePie is a personality now, and he does a lot of stuff around memes. He didn't start that way. He started with gaming content and gameplay content, and that's where he started, and that's where he grew. But after people got used to him, he was allowed to transition into being a personality. Okay? So don't think about putting the cart before the horse just because you're looking at some big YouTuber and trying to emulate where they already are without having any context on how they got there. Now, with gateway content, another hack that I would bring up is you could do a series. If you do a series, there's a very strong chance that you have a foundation of episodic content that people can refer to and get to know you from, so that's actually really key. The other thing is with gateway content is to have an intense focus early on. When you start your YouTube channel, you have to really find something, pick something, and go very hard on it initially and not deviate from it, because people don't have patience anymore. Variety channels on YouTube are dying. People don't have patience anymore, and they want one thing, and they want the thing that they showed up for, and that's it. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot of room for variety, especially early on in the beginning when you're trying to grow your channel. So, I would recommend sticking to an overall focus for that. And then now, see, but I lost my train of thought. We got these people asking questions, and I explained this, and now I'm losing my train of thought. Fantastic. Hang on. The dog doesn't usually bark like that. Guys, while I take a quick pause here before I go back to the more of this dress rehearsal for VidCon, I want to thank you guys for your support. Thank you for the couple of people who are doing Super Chat. I'll answer them at the end because right now we're kind of doing dress rehearsal of my presentation. But in the meantime, I want to invite you guys to check out my website, awesomecreatoracademy.com. Awesome Creator Academy has a lot of different things that we offer, and right now we're running some discounts for VidCon. Use the code VidCon2018, but Awesome Creator Academy is my online education platform where I offer coaching and also courses, product downloads, YouTube channel reviews, and also a mentoring group. So don't forget to check out awesomecreatoracademy.com. Basically, this live stream is sponsored by me, and so you can check that out. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to see what is going on with the dog, and then we'll continue the dress rehearsal of my VidCon presentation. Thanks. Well, apparently my dogs wanted to bark for no good reason, so that's fantastic. Alright, so now I have to find my place in the presentation again, and I believe I was just finished talking about gateway content. Not sure how I feel about the structure of the presentation. I feel like I need to do Hub, Help, and Hero a lot earlier on in the presentation. I also feel somewhere in the introduction I need to say something optimistic about the fact that there's still opportunity and that saturation is irrelevant and things of that nature. So I'll make a note of that for myself here. Do I want to really do content strategies for revenue? I almost think I want to completely nix content strategies for revenue, because I don't think that people trying to grow their channel need to even focus on that aspect of it, because I feel like that's a whole different thing. So I think I'm actually going to scrap that from the presentation. I think talking about focusing on your goals is important, but I think that the majority of people at VidCon, I think that if they want to figure out monetization, one, there's a different talk for that, and then two, I kind of feel like, for the sake of time, focusing it around, and I hate to say it because this thing is just it's so irritating to think that the reality is that people just want more views and subscribers, because it's it doesn't really work that way. I mean, you can get more views and subscribers, but that doesn't necessarily translate to everything else that people have expectations around. There's nothing I can do about that, because that's just the culture of YouTube right now. That's irritating to me. I'm trying to figure out what I need to change about the format of this presentation to get the most value. So I think I have to scrap content strategies for media attention, because I think it's just too much to overwhelm people with, to focus on anything but content strategies for making it easier to make their content, easier to grow an audience, easier to get views and subs, and to make them at least think about the fact that there's content that could put them on the radar of brands, so that that's something they think about. So I'm just going to narrow the focus, so I'm going to drop those from the presentation. Yeah, because I think it's overwhelming. I think people get too easily overwhelmed. I think most content creators are just going to get discouraged by thinking too hard about this, to be honest with you. So gateway content. Gateway content's going to be good for the people who are beginning to, I don't know what to do, I don't know what content to make. So we'll do that. Content strategies for audience growth and development. All right, so we'll focus here. What you'll get a lot of at these VidCon presentations is people will go on and they will tell you specifically about what they did, and the problem is it then is left to you to try to apply that to yourself and your niche and your genre, and that's where a lot of frustration comes in with trying to learn these things, because a lot of you feel it's not specific enough to you. And so I totally understand that, but the reality is that if you want that, it's going to come down to somebody doing something with you one-on-one. You're going to need a coach if that's what if you feel like there's no other way that you can grow other than somebody telling you exactly for your channel and only for your channel what you're doing well and what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, then that's where you're going to have to work with somebody one-on-one. The next best thing is what I refer to as just having a general case study. And the way that I would approach the idea of a general case study in this case, well, now I need to phrase that differently. The way that I would talk about things that work is, instead of thinking about what works for me, I'll tell you what works across the board. And what works across the board is this. If you focus on a niche, your odds are better of growing within that niche and within that group. And here is why. If you are able to focus all of your energy on specific content, then that content has a better chance of being shown in related videos to each other. If you also optimize that content for search, then you have a way of people finding your content regardless of your views, regardless of your subscribers. There, I can prove to you that YouTubers who optimize their video for search can get views and subscribers because they can rank in the search engine. The only reason that I grew a channel is by focusing exclusively on search-friendly content. By focusing on exclusively search-friendly content, I was able to grow my channel. Now, I understand if you're an entertainer that you don't necessarily think you can do that, but you're not necessarily thinking it through, because if you are a gamer, I guarantee you, you can get search-friendly content out of gaming. Okay? So you can get search-friendly content out of gaming. If you are a vlogger, you have to be a vlogger and by being a vlogger and whatever your unique and special thing is, you can derive a strategy for search-friendly content out of those things. Okay? So that is something that you're capable of doing. In the event that you just don't believe that there's any way for you to get search-friendly content out of what you're doing, then your option at that point is that you will have to fight to either get people to share your content that are watching it, or you will have to tap into a trend and get very lucky at the right time, which has been done, and potentially go viral. So you have a couple options here. You can either build a strategy of being very thorough in your niche and tapping into that hub of people by offering something different and through unique content and a unique approach, or you can tap into search, or you can fight the good fight and try to go viral. Those are essentially the three approaches that you can do. Now, or you could tackle all of those things, and that's fine. I don't like that. I think I'm going to rehearse that one differently. I'm going to try harder at that one. Because there's a point that I'm trying to make here, and I think that there's a part of me in trying to make that point that is frustrating myself with the culture of YouTube versus, I think this advice is helpful, but I don't think that's the best use of their time. Frack. Ugh. I need to make a way for people to care about being freaking strategic and not getting hung up on the bloody views and the subscribers. And I'm frustrating myself even thinking about this talk because I just know there's going to be people who just, all they're going to do is work themselves up about how do I get views, and they want an easy freaking hack. God. See, this is why I literally have to go through whenever I'm trying to do one of these talks, is I have to talk to myself. I have to literally be in the hotel room, be in the shower, and I literally have this conversation with myself literally 5 times before I go on stage. And then even then I'm mentally revising it in my head so that I can focus and so that I can deliver the most value. And then sometimes I pivot because I make an emotional connection with somebody in the audience and it helps steer the talk and it helps keep me focused. But in the meantime, while I'm in my head thinking about it, which I'm just working out with you guys on camera, is that these people are flying from all over the world, all over the country, and they want something that they haven't heard before, which I can give them. But the thing is, a lot of this is philosophical. If you actually, I'll tell you the real reason, and I'm gonna get back on topic, but I'm gonna get back on topic, and I'm gonna try this scenario again. But here's the real reason people don't succeed on YouTube. The real reason people don't succeed on YouTube is because they are philosophically flawed at the very beginning and inception of it, or at some point down the road, their philosophy, their core ideology of YouTube and their purpose for being on the platform gets misconstrued into attention seeking and then individual validation on views and subscribers. This is a rabbit hole and a trap. And it's this YouTube treadmill that ultimately has people making content out of fear instead of love. Fear of the algorithm, fear of being irrelevant, fear of how their audience will react to something, fear of how a video performs, all becomes the crux and the impetus of what motivates their content. And then as a result, incrementally over time, either the content becomes more soulless or the YouTuber becomes more frustrated and stifled creatively. And yet, balanced against that, they're making more money and they're getting that validation and they're feeding those and I'm not saying the word ego negatively, but they're feeding ego of like, oh, well, I put in all that work and yep, I got the views, or we're up on subs this month, great. And the thing is, then the desire is, well, if I don't keep doing that, if I don't keep growing, if I don't keep meeting those goals, then I'm doing something wrong. And that's not true. Doing something wrong has nothing to do with you getting views or subscribers. That's called market demand, and market demand could change regardless of you improving. You could improve, and yet the niche itself could be dying. Star Wars is having problems with this. You could improve, and then something chaotic happens in the niche or in the genre. Star Wars is having this problem. You could improve and get better, but then the genre might get stale. Harry Potter is having this problem. So, like, fandoms are particularly, it's the off-season. Dragon Ball is having this problem, right? So, it's all these things. And it creates all these different weird problems. And so, I'm just trying to, in my own way, work through... how do I address that? Guys, hang on one quick second. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. So my delivery finally showed up. That's great. Yeah, so, again, I'm working this out. This is why I rehearse, right? But yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I contextualize the big problem that I know is happening. And maybe I just give up on solving it in this talk and I do it in another thing, or I do it like during my meetup or whatever, right? Or maybe I do it in the experts panel, or when I go on a rampage there or something. I don't know. Like, the people have a fundamentally flawed philosophy in the way that they approach YouTube and they approach their content, because they've decided that if it doesn't get these numbers, then it wasn't worthwhile, which defeats the entire point of creating anything. In creating something, the point and the only validation and the only outcome is to fulfill the creation process itself. That's it. Everything else is ancillary. Everything else is nice to have. Everything else is icing on the cake. That is what being a creator is. A painter paints something so that they don't go insane. Okay? They don't paint something for applause. Yes, you would like a thing to be seen, but to be seen, its existence is enough for it to be seen. Like, understand that there are people crying themselves to sleep at night over their view counts when their view counts are equivalent to filling the San Diego Convention Center, which has a maximum capacity in its main auditorium of about 5,000 people, but people will not only cry themselves to sleep at night if they get 5,000 views on video, but there are also people who say, haha, your channel's dead, rest in peace. When they got 5,000 people to care about something, they got 5,000 people to care about something. It's like, do you realize how hard that is? Like, do you realize that these same people, if they had to perform for 20 people in Times Square, would just cry out of fear and embarrassment? So, there's a frustration with me with figuring out the fundamentally flawed perspective that most people address their content and address the platform with, because it leads to the discouragement, it leads to the fear and the anxiety of feeding the algorithm, of feeding the audience, of sometimes pandering to the audience, and then a creator is no longer creating what they love. They're creating what they think they need to out of necessity and out of fear of having something taken away from them. And like, it's god awful. But I don't know what to do about that. And I guess I'm going to have to settle for, instead of solving a philosophical problem, I'm just going to have to, which is my frustration. My frustration is I'm getting frustrated with having to give out growth hacks when the psychology of intent is actually the more fundamentally powerful thing that would shift people to where the outcome would be irrelevant anyway. But I digress. That's like not the point of this stream, and it's not the point of this talk. And then again, that's just my personal frustration. My personal frustration is that everyone wants a damn silver bullet, and it's not the answer. Anyway, so let's see. What can I do about this portion of the presentation around audience growth and development that doesn't get heady and doesn't frustrate the hell out of me? What can I do? Let's see. I'll circle back to that, even though it's not where it's supposed to be in the presentation. I'll circle back to that because I want to skip to something practical. I'll skip to things that don't work anymore. There we go. That's the easy thing to do, right? So things that don't work anymore. YouTube in 2018 is not YouTube of 2015, of 2013. It is not. Now, ultimately, what you have to look at is less of a shift in the algorithm, and it's more of a shift in the expectation of what things are. Part of that is that the threshold of acceptable quality from a production standpoint has moved. Now, that being said, the capabilities of smartphones and live streaming webcams and things of that nature have gotten much better, which means that you can use a webcam, you can use a smartphone, and in many cases, you would, depending on your content, meet the standard of acceptable visual quality. You know, don't feel compelled to go out of your way to mimic Casey Neistat and Peter McKinnon. There are plenty of successful storytime YouTubers that get millions of views that don't have the best, production values in the world, or are not going out and vlogging the actual day running around on a boosted board and everything like that. I think right across the street you have some storytime YouTubers throwing a thing. I think I heard something about that, right? So, and in this case, for those of you watching the stream, there's Tana Mongu, I think that's how you pronounce her name, is doing an alternative to VidCon thing right across the street from VidCon. So that's an inside joke reference while at VidCon to that. So it's like, yeah, storytime YouTubers, they're not doing fancy editing. They're not, running around doing all kinds of crazy B-roll. You still can manage to attract an audience if you are entertaining and interesting enough, and if you can tap into that niche properly. So at the end of the day, don't think that you have to always be producing this big hero content in order to garner those views. So, what does work is, believe it or not, the standalone bedroom YouTuber that doesn't have a team of 5 employees is still something that can happen. It just depends on your genre and your niche. If you are a how-to or a DIY YouTuber, you can still make it on your own. Things that don't necessarily work anymore, aside from making fidget spinner videos, are, unfortunately, I think, it's harder to be on YouTube with a variety channel. So that's not something that I think really is working and is favorable anymore, because people have become much more ruthless with their time. YouTube has also been conditioning them with the way that they present content to reward focus, and I think viewers are going in that way. So that's something that you need to pay attention to. Unfortunately, if you want to branch out and do different things, unless you feel you've hit the point where you are a personality, then you're going to have to, unfortunately, start a second or even a third channel. And I know that's disappointing. I know that that is discouraging because your channel is yours. It's all about you. You should be able to do all these things and just make playlists, like, right? What you'll find is you'll try that and the audience won't feel the same. Viewers will have brand confusion and they won't feel the same. And they will not support it the way that you would hope. They will not support it the way that you would hope. And that's just something we're seeing more and more of. That's a transition in the YouTube culture. I wouldn't even blame the algorithm on that. That's just the way viewers have been accustomed to think and feel about it going forward. So that's just where we are right now. Other things that don't work anymore are, obviously, you shouldn't be doing this in the first place, but sub for sub doesn't work. Like, obviously, you shouldn't be buying views or subscribers or doing any botting or things of that nature. YouTube is cracking down even more on that, and they should, thank God. And I would say that the other thing that doesn't necessarily work anymore are there are genres that are harder to be successful in starting now than there were a while back. I don't want to discourage anyone, but if I were an animator, I wouldn't put my eggs into the YouTube basket. If I was an animator, I'd probably be more focused on Instagram right now. I would still post things on YouTube, but I would be focused on growing my Instagram. And I know you don't get ad revenue out of Instagram, but I would be focused on selling merchandise. If I was an animator, I'd be focused on selling merchandise, and I'd be using YouTube kind of as an archive and as a place to showcase body of work and a place where I could theoretically build an audience. But short form content isn't playing well in the algorithm. It's all about medium and long form content. And so these videos under like 2 and 3 minutes that are really hard to make as an animator, they're not thriving. They're not thriving, and it's a shame. It's probably my favorite type of content to watch, and it's just not making it anymore. So that's definitely a problem. And I would also say that one of the counters to this, again, is build that audience in Instagram. Maybe that can actually help you filter people over to YouTube, and then you could fight the algorithm. So that's something that I would look at specifically for those folks, for animators and filmmakers and people doing heavily produced content. That's a reality. So those are just some of the things that I see personally that aren't necessarily working anymore, that you know, you may need to reconsider. Next section of the talk. Focus on brand consistency. One of the things that I think people fail to do in developing a content strategy is they don't think about the overall consistency of a brand. And that means that if you're going to cover multiple facets of something, you have to make them able to be related, and you need to be able to make sure that it's clearly identifiable and focused. This ties into not only the content itself, but the structure of your titles, the way that you handle playlists, and also the visual branding aspects of it. So the visual branding aspects of it are that you should pick color schemes, and then you should have different types of content that have specific branding elements and colors and things of that nature, and so that we can immediately relate this to a specific type of content. This is another level of your strategy, is that consistent branding. You should think about the intros and outros and things of that nature. You see a lot of people that pull this off successfully are people like Peter McKinnon. Peter McKinnon's videos have a really great overall consistency to them in all aspects, whether it's the way they approach his thumbnails, the way they approaches the color grading, the structure of like intros and outros, and little things that he does, little quirks, the fact that like coffee is a recurring theme in his brand and in his videos, and his obsession with coffee is kind of a known inside relationship joke with the audience. So those things, you know, ultimately play a role. And then finally, and again, consistency is also about your upload schedule. Consistency, the YouTube treadmill, is if you make a promise of videos on a certain day of a certain type, try and make those videos on that day, and be consistent with them. That is something that, again, a lot of people don't do. Disciplining your audience to have certain expectations is fantastic. Philip DeFranco is probably the best at this. We all know that 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which also usually means 5:30 or 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, Phil. We can expect the Philip DeFranco show to release. So Phil has conditioned us to a certain expectation, and we're there waiting, and we're there tweeting if the show isn't out. So that's something that you need to think about, is if you can create a disciplined habit for your audience, then there's a chance of them showing up. If you're consistent, they will be consistent. If you set expectations, you are obliged to meet those expectations. So that's where focus and brand consistency comes in. Finally, some resources for you guys. This presentation deck will be available on awesomecreatoracademy.com. There's an article over in the blog section where you'll be able to download the presentation deck here, and you'll also have access to the resources that I provide over on my website. But, if there's anything that you guys didn't get to take notes on or anything of that nature, then all that's included here in this presentation deck, and you can download it. So if you've been snapping pictures and everything like that, congratulations. I'm literally just giving you the entire deck, so you can find that. I'm also going to put it over in LinkedIn for those of you who are connected with me over there, so that's going to be available. And ultimately we're going to then transition to Q&A. Would like to thank my sponsor for this talk. Would love to thank the Vidcon team for bringing me out. Also, after this talk, I'm going to be out in the hall taking your questions. I'm going to be at the TubeBuddy booth today. I'm also going to be at the B&H Photo booth. So please visit me, ask your questions. Happy to have a conversation with you. Let's just try and keep them brief so that we can get everyone in, and then that's when I would move to the Q&A. But I can't move to Q&A here in the live stream right now because I need to revisit this whole, I need to figure out how to properly position some of these topics in the slides and in the presentation. I think I need to refine my approach to getting them through gateway content. I think I need to break that down more. I think I need to pull specific examples of Hub Help and Hero content from channels that they would recognize, because that's going to be a thing. I think I need to utilize more channels that they would recognize, like Casey Neistat and Peter McKinnon and PewDiePie and H3H3 and Lily Singh and a few other ones that they know, so that I can break through people's freaking thick skulls about some of this stuff. So I think that the only way to get people's attention to punch through and to make it relevant to them is, oh yeah, so-and-so does do that. Because people just, they can't bridge the gap on their own on some of these things. It's really annoying. It's one of the most irritating things of when you have to figure this stuff out. And so you guys are in real time seeing what I go through. Is this is where I get impatient. Like I told you, my biggest problem in life, my biggest problem in everything is I have very little patience for anything but machines and building models and working with numbers, or the only thing that I seem to have any real patience with. It's the biggest problem I have in life is I've had to cultivate and work at being patient with people. I think it might also be the ADHD. I think that's probably a big underlying cause, if I'm honest with myself. So being patient with people, being patient with how to communicate an idea in a way that other people will understand is it's so hard. And I have to put so much work and so much thought into it. And it's because I want people to get it. It's because I'm wildly empathetic to that. But then my empathy is offset by my impatience and my frustration. And then I come off a certain way. It's just a whole thing. So you guys are watching me work through it and how my brain works. And so this is why bullet points. I use bullet points. I don't even use a script. I just use bullet points for this and for the talks, and I don't rely on the slides. If they'd let me do it without slides, I probably would. I have to figure out in the presentation, one, I have to rearrange the order of these things. Because I think there's a better flow to be had here, so I'm going to work that out. And then I need to figure out a way to get through how to get through the audience growth portion of the presentation without getting philosophical and without getting frustrated. And that's hard, because the straightforward answer to how you grow an audience is you have to understand the person that you're trying to reach and what they want from you and what you've positioned yourself for. If you've decided to be an entertainer, for example, and the whole goal is for people to be entertained, then you have to also know in either your niche or in general pop culture what is exciting to people right this moment, what's relevant right this moment, and you have to be able to play into that in some meaningful way. If you're an entertainer, if you're an inspirational or motivational figure, you have to know what people's vulnerabilities and weaknesses are, what their pain is, and then you have to speak to that pain. So if you want to entertain people, you have to know what they're interested in and what they're excitable about. That's how you're going to entertain them. If you read the room wrong, it goes very badly. If you want to motivate and inspire people, you have to prove to them that you are acting in good faith and that you understand their pain and that you can relate to it and that you can offer them something in the form of hope or relief. And that's how you deliver on motivational or inspirational content. And then if you're an educator, you have to be able to offer experience or a proven result or something that makes very clear sense up front that people can trust, and you also have to be accessible and approachable. Sometimes the problem with academics are they come off cold and unfeeling and unsympathetic, and it turns people off who could learn from them. So when you have to do any of these three things, whether you're trying to entertain or you're trying to motivate or trying to educate, you have to understand who you're speaking to, and you have to understand how to best communicate to them while acknowledging your own strengths and weaknesses. Depending on your own strengths and weaknesses, you have to adjust your content not only to meet the needs of your, I think I've just figured out part of the talk. I think you need to adjust your content not only to meet the desire and the market demand of your audience, but what are you actually capable of supplying? I think one of the big problems with most people figuring out content strategy is that they're focused entirely too much on what's in demand, and it hasn't occurred to them that they may not be able to supply what's in demand, and that there might be an area where there is demand that they could be meeting that supply, but they get discouraged because there's not enough views there, or there's not enough whatever for them to feel good about it or feel validated, or it's moving slow. And so I would make the argument that it's better to dominate, that small niche, be the big fish in that small pond, rather than worry about reaching the most people. I mean, if you have a fishing channel, you know that it's a small niche, but it's also people who have enough disposable income and enough disposable time to go fishing on the weekends or whatever. It's also usually going to be an older audience that has an interest in that, probably skews slightly more affluent. So ultimately, while I don't think that there is a 1 million subscriber fishing channel on YouTube, a fishing channel, even with 10,000 subscribers, is crushing it in their niche because of who their audience is. A sewing channel with 10,000 subscribers is crushing it in their niche. And so I think there's a problem with people judging their content on their niche, but I also think there are too many people going into general niches of content seeking attention instead of focusing on content that would play to their strengths. They're asking, well, this is popular in YouTube, so that's what I want to do it, because they've set this arbitrary goal of being a big YouTuber instead of being the best or one of the best or one of the leaders in the thing that they're actually good at. And if you did content based on what you're actually good at, it's going to show up. It's going to show, and it's going to be, it's how you're going to stand out. If you want to stand out in a crowd, the thing is, you might be in too big of a room to start with. And so maybe narrowing your focus of your content strategy, like gaming, that's too broad. You can't just pick up any video game. It's too broad. Doing a specific genre of gaming, whether it's first-person shooters, fighting games, retro gaming, RPGs, strategy, that's different now. Now all of a sudden, okay, Now, if you pick out a specific game or a specific genre, that's another thing. But then you could do what Bijou Mike did. You could pick an aspect of the game. Like, you could be the person who you pick up any game, and your whole shtick is to exploit all the glitches in the game. Or you could be like the completionist. The completionist decided to like finish games to 100%. So that's, that's the thing. And yes, there are a lot of people who will just play games that, they just came out, but you're not picking something specific. Like, if a game just came out, the smart thing to do, instead of doing a freaking Let's Play, the smart thing to do would be to do tutorials for everyone who's trying to learn how to play the freaking game. Like, everyone cries to me about how hard it is to grow as a YouTube gamer, and the thing is, I go to their channel and I don't see anybody exploiting search content on owning all the noobs in the game and teaching them how to play the game, and then doing Let's Plays after the fact, after it's like, okay, like, or doing missions or doing run-throughs after you've given them all the tutorials on the very, very basics of the game, because maybe your tutorial for the beginning of the basics of the mechanics of the game is better than the in-game tutorial, and maybe you have a personality, or maybe you can crack funny jokes or whatever. So like, that's the thing. Like, people, I'm a daily vlogger, I can't, or I'm a vlogger, but I can't do more content, I don't have the time. It's like, there's enough room within strategy of, you don't have to do an exciting vlog every day. Some of it could just be talking to your audience and sharing a story of something that did happen that you can't show, but you could do a dramatic reenactment, and you can make it funny and you can make it clever. There are all kinds of ways to do this. There are ways and formulas and systems to make your content a lot easier to make. There are ways to get to something specific in a niche and see what happens. So now alright, so cool. I think I can get something out of that for that segment for bullet point number 7. I think that'll work. Since this went for about an hour and 20, even with me getting up to go answer the door a couple of times and me going into rants and tangents, I think that I can make this all work in the 45 minutes that I have for a talk, and then the 15 minutes of Q&A, and then going down to the booth and doing more stuff with people. I think that I can get this to work. I think I just have to rehearse content strategy, and I might have to make separate bullet points to keep myself focused for that. I think I need to do the same with Hub Help and Hero content. I think I had everything else down, and I think I could do that on the fly, but I might need to give myself focused bullet points for breaking this down, and for the portion where it's like, all right, figure out what is growing. I think I need to get into analyzing and how to analyze channels in your niche. I think I need to hit that. So I think I can get this to a 45-minute talk and still do 15 minutes of Q&A, and I think I can do it without ending up on the philosophical tangent, and I think I could just make something as a video while at VidCon in the week that lets me go there, because I feel like I'm gonna have to get through that mentally at some point, because it's less than a week away, and I can already feel being frustrated by people's frustrations. I can feel being frustrated by people's lack of confidence in what they do. I can feel it already, because I'm like, views and subscribers don't matter. Views and subscriber counts don't matter. Like, they just, like... Dr. Sten Ekberg says, niching down is hard for me because you need to do all the aspects of health to get truly healthy. That's why I don't worry about subs. Dr. Sten, for a content strategy for someone in your position, is that what you would do is this. You would do a concentration of, and you would break down the different aspects of health on an actual list. You would break down the different aspects of health on an actual list. Then you would build a content calendar, and you would tackle in depth enough of the different aspects of health. Month 1, in the first month of the year, the second month in the year, the third month in the year, the fourth month in the year, the fifth month in the year. And what you would build, Dr. Sten, is you'd build a reference channel. But you would also use a monthly content calendar to structure that, so that there's an area of focus for people to take action, because what's intimidating for people is taking action. And so if you structure it in such a way to where at least the people who've come in initially that month have an area of health to focus on, then they're not all over the place and they feel like they have some structure. And if they go back to the channel, then they have these months and they have these playlists to get through that offer them structure. So I would approach it like you would approach curriculum. I would offer that structure, Dr. Ekberg. So Dr. Ekberg, I think that for you, it's not about, you don't flit from topic to topic every day to cover the gamut of the aspects of health. I think that you offer structure by giving people a month of focus with your content and then move on to another area and you focus like that. Because I think if you're doing a channel to help people get healthy, then you need to make a reference channel. And a reference channel in itself becomes a sub-factory. Someone's saying, well, express that then. The session and the talk isn't the purpose of going on a stage at VidCon isn't for me to express the frustrations of how much pain I see in the YouTube community, and that wasn't the purpose of the talk on content strategy that I got booked for. The purpose of that is to help people grow their channel and reach their goals by refining their strategy to make it more effective and by disciplining their content. So that's what the talk has to be focused on, even though emotionally there's a place I'd rather go. Darren asks, do people get bored of watching someone talk for 6 to 8 minutes, or how do you keep people engaged? Is it all about personality? It's personality and it's delivery. It's ultimately delivery. There were some super chats I missed while I was doing all the rehearsal stuff, so I'm going to address those now. First of all, welcome to some of our new sponsors. Quitter Wiley, thank you. XLMX Gaming Z, thank you. Eric Wayweather, I recently heard posting more than once a day is an easy way to tank your channel. Also, that live streaming tanks your channel as well. Is this true? Yes to posting more than once a day. No to live streaming. Live streaming is fine. Posting more than once a day is not, with very few exceptions. Nikita Lauren, $5 super chat. Thank you. Just wanted to say that you're my mentor, whether you know it or not. Thank you, Roberto. Thank you, Nikita. I appreciate you. Luxury card store. Any thoughts on streaming 24/7? If watch time is king, wouldn't that quickly ramp up a small channel? The channel Kidden Academy does it, but they don't have monetization turned on. They do Patreon. 24/7 live streams don't necessarily work if you can't make the archive available. And for copyright reasons, most people can't. So that ends up going away. So it doesn't actually help with watch time. It does help with marketing awareness for being featured on the YouTube homepage as a live stream very often in that way. Anthony asks, did you get my DM about Hollywood Carnival for Sunday while you're out here in LA? I didn't, but I will be doing Disney Day all day Sunday as a tradition that I do for VidCon. Clover Tack, thank you for a $5 super chat. The Force will be with you always. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. So yeah, thanks for all the super chats. Amanda Smith No More says, I really don't see how niche down for lifestyle. I make videos for wives on being happy homemakers. I plan out episodic series. Beyond that, I find it how niche down. This actually isn't hard. You pick multiple aspects of being a homemaker. So probably focus on 3 or 5. You make featured playlists on your homepage for these 3 or 5 aspects of being a homemaker. You make them series, like shows on a television network, and then you focus on a schedule wherein you put out these things 3 days a week. So if it was going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Tuesday's content is about housekeeping and being organized and minimalism and all of those things. and room cleaning videos and organization hacks and things of that nature. Maybe Wednesday, like if that's Tuesday's videos, then maybe Wednesdays is about family, and then you can do multiple things with it being a focus on family. And then maybe Thursday videos are about personal time and being happy and taking care of yourself and self-care for wives. So that's not hard to niche down. It's that you're not making a focused strategy that plays to the strengths of how do I think of this and how do I structure this by breaking up the aspects of what I do into specifics and then creating the appropriate framework of content. I guess this is something I'll have to cover in the talk for that. Kit Slams Art says, Roberto, in the genre of art, would you encourage someone to be narrow and focused on one medium? I would say that depends on how good you are at multiple mediums. I don't know that I would choose one medium. I might choose to narrow the focus on subject matter before I've worried about focusing on medium. Yeah, Amy and I talked about this for the last couple of years a lot. Justin B. Henderson, your idea is intermingling restaurant, customer service training, and motivational, inspirational content. No, I don't think those two things will work. I don't think they're vastly different. They're far too different. Like, I don't think you can do that. Like, I personally, if I'm a restaurant owner and you have training videos and restaurant stuff and I'm not depressed today, I'm just confused by that in the brand. You can be a motivational person in the underlying message of your content, but I wouldn't sit there and do motivational speech content on a channel that's about being a restaurant owner. Detail Architecture says, I wonder how PewDiePie stayed with the same channel and name for so many years. PewDiePie is good at reinventing himself. Most people aren't, so they can't do it. And PewDiePie is also very energetic and charismatic. So essentially the answer is it's because he's PewDiePie. Felix is a special person. And I don't say that to be overly like flattering, because everyone like is disingenuous. Well, not everybody. Many people are disingenuous in flattering Felix Kjellberg, aka PewDiePie, the biggest YouTuber. But if you actually look and you study him, and you study the growth and evolution of his channel, and you study his journey, and you study where he came from and his background, you start to understand that he is a special and unique person because his mindset is the underlying thing that's made him successful all this time, and it's his actual point of view and the way that he takes things on internally. That is where his success comes from. You can't be PewDiePie. You cannot do what he does. You can't just say, oh, I look up to PewDiePie and aspire to do the same things and be that. And then people will say, well, Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, and I'm like, they would have been, he might have like encouraged them or been someone, oh, I can do it too. They were special and unique individuals in their own way, and that's why their content's different than his, and that's why their success story is different than his. It's like people are not appreciating the thing that's special about them, or not patient enough to discover the thing that's special about them. They try to be a one-off clone of somebody else because they were inspired by them, and ultimately it doesn't go anywhere. Tony Captured says, I think I need to start a new channel. I don't think the algorithm likes my channel because I started using it after years of inactivity. I mean, I started using my channel after years of inactivity too. I don't think that that's the issue. Artanique Nelson says, do you think giveaways work to grow your channel? With subs that are going to be inactive, yes. Because those people aren't on your channel for the right reasons. Kid Toys Play, thank you for the $10 Canadian. Seems that on June 7th, a ton of kids and toys channels took a noticeable dip. Worst numbers of 2018. Any insight on strategy moving forward? I'd have to think about it, but in general, expect across the board, unless you're one of the juggernaut channels, expect views to be down across the board going through 2018 through 2019 as we move into the next phase of the algorithm. In terms of how to move forward, I think that we're experiencing a new normal right now. I think this is the new normal. I really do. And it's not just toy channels. I'm seeing it in a lot of channels. A lot of niches. It's actually a little concerning on behalf of those people. But I think this is just going to be the new normal. But I also think the life cycles of videos will improve. I think it'll take longer to get the views, but I think ultimately they'll get the views. But I think the life cycle of videos is going to extend, but it also means that initial view velocity might be lower than anticipated. But that's just what I'm seeing, and that's somewhat speculation on my part, but that's what I'm seeing. Dr. Sten Eckberg, thank you so much. Dean Cole, how are you, my buddy? Use real-life examples to avoid rant trap frustrations. Yeah. Yeah. So, Tony, the thing about content strategy isn't a hack, it's a thought process. There's not a tool that's going to be the answer to content strategy. It's the way you're thinking about it. It's the way you're thinking about content. And the thing is, I'm not sure. It's hard. This is a challenging talk because there's no hack. There's no secret sauce. You will have to change the way you think of content. And the reason most people can't be successful is because they can't change their thought process. Oh, if anyone's asking, by the way, these are sliders from Crystals. It's kind of like the South's answer to White Castle. MORNINGFAME is a great tool for understanding your content strategy better, but it's not a solution in and of itself. It's a great tool, though. Link is in the description if you want to grab MORNINGFAME, VIDIQ, TubeBuddy, all of them. Lemon Uzumaki. Like, Lemon, I'm not calling you out per se, but I'm saying this is a prime example of exactly why people are not successful on YouTube. Because your question is exactly the framework of thought that is why people are not successful on YouTube. Because the question you're asking is, what do you think the best YouTube topics for 2018 year and up? Why would there be a best topics for YouTube for 2018, 2017, 2015? And how would anybody predict that? And why would you make content that is, oh, I think this is what will be popular on YouTube, when you might not even be suited to making that type of content. If I told you the best content to make on YouTube is Fortnite right now, but you don't have a good computer and you're not a gamer, or you don't even like gaming content, why would you make a Fortnite YouTube channel? What, to be a big YouTuber, to get a silver play button, to get a gold play button, when you have absolutely no passion for the game, you really aren't that into the community, and you don't even really want to be a gamer? You would do it just because it could be popular? That's the problem with people on YouTube right now, is everybody chasing freaking view validation. You have to do something that you are passionate about. You have to do something that you are good at. And if you want views and subscribers, then those things also have to align to where market demand is. You want to know how to grow on YouTube? You want to know the real answer? Is supply and demand. Now here's the thing. The niches that have the most demand, you will not be able to supply something of value in those, because the painful truth is you want... If you want to go into YouTube gaming, which has an overabundance of supply, more than enough to meet the demand, and you're not in the top 10% of either charisma, gaming ability, or creativity, you're going to lose. You will not be happy being a YouTube gamer if you are not able or patient enough to develop charisma or skill or creativity, and you go into YouTube gaming in 2018, 2019, 2020, where there is an abundance of YouTube gaming channels and only so many eyeballs, you will lose. Now, if you're passionate about gaming and you are good at gaming, you could, over the course of 2 to 3 to 5 years of hard work, break out in there. Like my friend Bijou Mike. But you would have to actually have talent. So, I mean, Peter McKinnon started YouTube last year, got to 2 million subscribers. Do you know why? Even with all of the photography channels, there are a lot of photography channels, but photography still has more than enough room, because there only are a handful of... Actually, Peter was probably the first photography channel to get a gold play button, now that I think about it. I think Peter actually was the first one, which proves the market demand. But there were at least enough people that have subscribed to and regularly watch photography videos on YouTube, which is always a growing market because more people are becoming creative, cameras are becoming more accessible, it's a good job market depending on where you are, and it's universal worldwide. So guess what? That's not a niche that is oversaturated by itself, but also out of all the people in that niche, even people that have a long experience in YouTube, Peter is the best personality in the photography game right now. He's actually the most interesting person and the most excited and energetic person. And now you have a couple of other people that are breaking out, like Chris Howe and Maddie and all these other ones that are in that crew with Peter. They're breaking out and finding fast success, not to the same level as Peter, but pretty fast and rapidly, because Peter inspired and encouraged people to leverage their enthusiasm versus their technical ability, because the photography niche of YouTube was full of people who were technicians, but not people who were entertaining to watch, Jared Polin being one of the exceptions. So, that's why those people could be successful. They brought something new to the genre. If you bring something new and exciting and interesting to the genre, you can be successful. But if your answer is, oh, what will be big on YouTube, or what's the best topic to cover, you've already lost, because your mindset's already wrong. Your philosophy is already wrong. You cannot win with a losing philosophy, and the losing philosophy is... So, D is saying Peter was promoted by Neistat, like work when you have big names shouting you out. Funny thing about that, Peter McKinnon didn't get a shout out from Casey Neistat until much later. Casey Neistat's audience has been spoiled on the highest level of production values and quality. So anyone who says that, oh, someone only got big because of a Casey Neistat shout out, I'm practically tempted to write you an address for a gym and challenge you to a freaking boxing match at this point, because I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of people saying, you realize how many people have either been featured on big channels, how many people have been featured or shouted out even or something like that on this channel that have like no subscribers or whatever. Like, I'm a 300,000 sub channel. Even when I get views on something and everything like that, I can't get 100 of you to subscribe to a small YouTuber. So don't give me that crap. Don't give me that crap that, oh, he was promoted by Neistat. Blah, 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 blah. If his videos weren't good, being promoted by Casey Neistat wouldn't do anything. I got a shout out from Casey Neistat. My channel didn't grow. Come on with that crap. Come on. If people are quality and they get you realize how many people have been on the Ask Gary V show and their channel didn't grow any at all and everything like that? Come on with that nonsense. Come on. People, shoutouts will do stuff if they're actually good. Nobody subscribes to someone like a mindless freaking zombie because some big YouTuber told them to. Okay, so get out of here with that nonsense. Come on. This is me being polite about it, by the way. I mean, if that was the case, you realize how many times Gary V and Casey Neistat have collaborated and everything like that. So why is Gary V smaller than Peter McKinnon if that's the case? Come on. What about how long it took for Sam Sheffer, who's been in Casey's videos for years, has been in the videos, not a shout out, has been featured in the freaking videos. How long did it take Sam Sheffer? Get a shout out from a big YouTuber. That's the answer to everything. Oh yeah, that's the answer to everybody's freaking problems. Sure, right. Right. I got featured in a BuzzFeed article. I got featured in Forbes articles. It didn't necessarily grow my channel. Come on. Get out of here. So, Noed Craig says, any interesting videos for a vegan channel? I like to show that anyone can be vegan. I mostly do recipes and grocery shopping videos. Study the channels, not the biggest channels in your niche. Go into Social Blade and find the vegan channels that are growing the fastest. Study their content strategy. Find a way to piggyback off of that, but make it your own, and do similar content to that. And that's my answer to that. So David Dorian Ross says, any thoughts on getting better on thumbnail creation? I'm going to have to buckle down and learn Photoshop. If it's down to thumbnail creation, grab the YouTube Starter Kit. Link is in the description below from awesomecreatoracademy.com. Use the code VidCon2018 and get 35% off. And that would be my answer. And it's not just to plug my product, it's that the shortcut to making good YouTube thumbnails is you may not know what makes a good YouTube thumbnail. The YouTube Starter Kit, which I developed, helps you with any of the visual branding aspects of YouTube that you're not good at and allows you to do things similar to better performing channels. So I am a Photoshop expert, so I gave you guys the templates and things that you would need in order to be successful in that. So that's why I built that product. Okay, now I have to see what's going on down there. Alright guys, I'll be right back. I have to see what these dogs are doing. Hang tight. All right, I'm back. So I just put the dogs outside to deal with that while I wrap up the stream. David Dorian Ross, thanks, brother. Love you, man. Appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. $2 super chat. Awesome. Just reading through some of your chats here while I was gone. Let's see. Roberto, this is a serious question. I hope you can help. How do I get my name to come up correctly in the YouTube auto search bar? Right now my name pops up, but it's spelled wrong. I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea if your name is coming up wrong, how to fix that in the auto search bar. Let's see. Yes, on-camera presence is a craft. It can be learned. It's hard to make it on YouTube without it. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing you can probably do about auto search correct for your name if your name is coming up wrong. I don't really have an answer for that one. No name, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey man, I'm taking it easy on making my videos. I'm teaching myself Blender to create a custom intro. Do you think taking the time is a plus or negative? Taking the time is fine if that's what you want to do and how you want to present and how you want your work to represent you. Yeah, that's fine if that's what you want to do. I don't see any downside or any problem with that. Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, a lot of what we talked about is like strategy comes down to how you think. How you think about content. You know, it's down to how you structure things, how you plan for unifying segments of your audience, how you can be consistent, how you can do something without running it into the ground. And these are things people have to think about. They have to think about the sustainability of their content. They have to think about the overall plan and direction for their brand. They have to think about whether they will outgrow content. There'll be a point where you outgrow something that you're doing possibly, and then you'll have to be like, well, I don't want to lose these numbers, so I'm not going to start another channel. I'm going to try and shoehorn the thing that I'm now interested in into the channel. That doesn't work. And yeah, you'll dig up the 3 or 5 exceptions to that rule, and you'll ignore the literally thousands of channels that are dead because of it, right? So if you decide, oh, okay, I want to do something else and it's unrelated, instead of trying to shoehorn, well, they are related in this weird way, like, no, start a second channel or a third channel and experiment with that, because you're going to kill the channel. You're going to kill the channel. It's what happens when you deviate, because variety doesn't work anymore. You could have done it in 2010 and it would have been fine. You could have done it in 2012 and it would have been fine. Maybe even 2013. It's 2018. You can't do it. You'll just get frustrated because you'll have that sub count and the views will tank and it'll be this and that. Like, the real answer to growing a YouTube channel is if you see something, if you care about growing, because like sometimes you guys will look at my view to sub ratio and then you'll say, well, you're not doing this, or why can we trust that, or whatever. And here's the answer. I stopped caring about growing very early on and I just kept growing. I stopped caring about growing and guess what? I kept growing. But if I really wanted to grow, it's very simple. If I really, really wanted to grow my channel, there's a very simple formula for how I would have done it. And it's not that hard. In this case, once you know what your audience will respond to, once you've ever had a single successful video that you've been able to prove that, oh, I can get content like that to be successful over and over and over again, it's actually not that easy. All you have to do, once you have a few videos that have popped, and I taught this lesson to other creators and they did it, and this is what helped their channel grow, and this is how some of them got silver and gold play buttons, is I'll tell you exactly how a lot of people followed my advice to get silver and gold play buttons. You see, this is not what everyone would expect my most popular upload video data to look like. This is not what people would expect. Everyone is convinced, everyone and their mother is convinced that my channel only grew because of YouTube tips videos and talking about how to grow a YouTube channel, when it's literally only about roughly 15% of the overall audience of this channel. And you'll see that the most popular video on this channel ever, with 1.3 million views that keeps getting views, is how to make passive income online. And here in the top 5, another video on small businesses you can start from home. If I wanted to grow this channel the most, because by the way, these don't just have the most views, these videos generated and continue to generate the most subscribers for the channel. Because if I go into the data, and I even look at, I'll look at like 30-day data later or something like that. No, this is 30-day data. I could look at longer periods of times, but let's look at 90 days. Last, what? I know that there's a thing for, here it is, 90 days. So, this is something that's recent, and I think it's because it's like the season for it, or because of, I was on a podcast, and so that, like, but usually the how to make passive income online video is the one that does the best for generating new subscribers. But 10 ways to make passive income online, start freelancing if you're broke, how to market yourself, how to start a podcast, Microsoft Surface review, how to become a graphic designer, my trailer, how to become a graphic designer, how to start a podcast. Like, after these 2 videos about YouTube, after these 2, it takes me going through the top 20 before we ever get to another YouTube tips video ever again in terms of what's generating subscribers on this channel. And then it doesn't even break, like, we go down to the below 100 new subs. We just barely break the 100 new subs before we get to another YouTube tips video, again generating subs for this channel. So there are 2 big YouTube sub videos that do a lot of subscribers for this channel in a 90-day period, but mostly it's stuff like how to make passive income and how to do very specific things. So if we analyze that, we know that those are where we're getting subs. In terms of views, you can see that tutorial videos overwhelmingly over time, there's a stack where over time tutorial videos just keep racking up the views. Like, something I'm getting ready to do is I'm going to do a why you need for every lens that I own, for every camera lens, and I own every camera lens under the sun at this point, and I know that that's going to work. Why? Because of the way this video has historically performed, and because people who need to make buying decisions around camera lenses tend to watch a lot of different videos, not just one. They'll watch a lot. Laptop advice videos, those perform well on the channel. Like, almost every single time I do a laptop video or a laptop related video or a top 5 or top 10 gadgets video, it performs. Whenever I do a career-based video, it performs. Whenever I do video editing tutorials for Premiere Pro, they perform. It's a guaranteed way to generate the most views on this channel because it's historically been proven. It's historically been proven that tutorials and career guides will work on this channel. Software tutorials will work on this channel, especially the ones that are covered the least. Screaming about Fiverr definitely performs on this channel. So the podcasting related content performs on this channel. There's a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with YouTube advice that historically and even currently performs on this channel, and I could literally just build an entire thing around the things that perform the best. I could look at the archive of the top 20 or 30 videos, or just all videos, which is about, let's see, there's a multiplier here I can do. We'd start from about roughly here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so there are about 36 to 42 videos on this channel that have over 100,000 views. I could just audit that, figure out which ones, which I already know what they are, produced the most views, and then check them in analytics against which ones produced the most subs. Then I could narrow the focus of my entire content strategy to making videos similar to any video that got over 100,000 views, or any video individually by itself that produced over 2,000 subs or more in its lifetime. And I could literally just produce 5 videos a week derived from that information in a structured playlist, and that would grow the channel more. I know that. It's been done. I've watched channels that I've coached do it, and their channels grow bigger and explode because they're doing exactly what the audience wants in terms of supply and demand, as proven by the goals that they have in terms of views and subscribers, meaning that if you have data on videos that have performed and you know that these generate views and these generate subscribers, you just make that content and you make nothing else. And you know what happens when you do that? You grow your YouTube channel and you die a little inside every single day when your creativity is stifled and you're not doing the content that you want, and you're living in fear of the algorithm and in fear of your audience abandoning you and no longer being relevant, and you're so scared to experiment or do anything except for the templated formula of what has built your success, that you become nothing more than a shell of the creator that you once aspired to be. That's how you get a gold play button. Yeah, I digress. But that's actually the problem with YouTube today. The problem with YouTube today is, you could get views, you can get subscribers, and when you find out what gets views and what gets subscribers, and it completely differs from content that you love to do, you'll put your heart and soul into a video, and it won't be what your audience expects. The video will tank, and you'll be emotionally devastated because you put everything into making this video, and the audience didn't love it the way you loved it, and then you'll decide to not make that video anymore because you're being punished for making that video. And then you'll just do the videos that your audience is used to, serve them up exactly what they're used to, and then you'll get the views and the subs that you want back, and you'll learn your lesson, and you'll stay in your lane, quote unquote. And I'm being facetious here, but I'm being frustrated because I'm watching this happen. It's that because creators care about growth, they don't get to express themselves creatively, because regardless of what people say, they just won't support it. They just won't support it. And it's very rare that that ever turns out the other way. There are a few people that can do whatever, and their audience will support it. There's a very few people who can do that. Most creators, nope. They figure out, okay, if I want to do this, if I want to grow, I have to do this, and I can only do this. And if I don't do this, the algorithm punishes me, or the audience punishes me. So I guess the lesson is, I don't do that. And that's what happens. Shelbiz Lee, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Mac Mageburger, watch my video on affiliate marketing, and that will help you. Shelby's ask, how do you explain to your sponsors that your content does not get the majority of views within the first week? I tell them that my content doesn't get the majority of the views in the first week. I position the content to be evergreen and everlasting. I remind them that I'm obligated to keep the video up for a minimum of 6 months. I remind them what I know their average spend rate is on advertising that goes away. And then I remind them that I'm the king of conversions and that I sell things. But that's my situation. So that's how I am able to pull that off. Yeah. So again, I know what content will perform on my channel and grow my channel in more views and more subscribers. But as I showed you guys by literally showing you my analytics and showing you what has historically performed on my channel and telling you exactly the strategy that I would have to do in order to, I literally know how to build out a strategy from these top performing 50 or so videos that would absolutely crush it and get more views and get more subscribers and get me high activation rates and everything like that. And in theory, I could do it and still enjoy doing the content, but I have really no interest in that, and I don't really care about growth at this point. I'm fine. Like, there's nothing that I will get, at least as far as I can tell, aside from street cred that I don't care about, by getting a gold play button. It doesn't mean anything to me personally. Now, there are other people that means something to, and that's fine. I have nothing against that. If that's what your goal was, it's nice to meet a goal. It's nice to get a trophy. It's nice to get acknowledgement. I just don't care. But that's me. I had no expectations when I came to YouTube of having a large audience anyway. So the fact that I got one was more than enough validation of what I do. At this point, I'm more concerned with growing my audience as individuals, as in I would rather more of you are making money, doing things that you love and making money at them, or making money on something practical that I can teach you so you can do the thing you love, whether it makes money or not. You know what I love? I love that I can go out and I can use this fancy camera gear and I can shoot pictures of whatever I want, whether it's friends, whether it's my dog, whether it's go out to sci-fi conventions and shoot cosplayers, whatever, and not have to worry about posting it to YouTube or Instagram. I love that I can be a photographer completely selfishly and never have to work at photography to make a living because I love photography. It's what I use to pay my way through college cash and not have student loan debt starting my adult life, which is a big deal. I might talk about that more on the channel, but I can do photography and I can do art and never have to worry about making money on it. I mean, that is so liberating. I cannot express it enough. And I have enough things in play business-wise. I can make YouTube videos whether they perform or not. I have enough things in play business-wise to do that. And so I just do things I enjoy because I know how to make money. So I can do things whether or not they seem practical or not. I finally bought an Xbox again, and so now I can actually take 2 hours out of the week and play video games for a little bit and not feel guilty about it because I know, oh, passive income, oh, this deal that I did, oh, this business meeting is coming up, or oh, but in the meantime I can decompress and play video games without feeling guilty anymore. I can go traveling. I can actually go and take a actual week vacation. I'm planning some international travel. When you don't have to be on this YouTube treadmill, it's for the best. But again, that's because I don't need to grow anymore. Now, that being said, even when I was an early YouTuber, I wasn't trying to grow except to see if I could. If that makes sense, or if you get what I mean. I was making content, the content that I wanted to make, the content that I believe in, the content that's been here on the channel forever, and things that I think are dope and things that I think make sense and would help people, whether they want to buy the gear that's going to help them in their career or business, whether or not it's tips to actually start that career or start that business or whatever. But ultimately, the goal has always been the same. How can I help all of these people to become more successful with either their creativity, their tech, or their business? How can I help these people? And it's why? Because, God, it would have been nice if someone had bothered to take the time to help me like that. It would have been a lot less struggling for the first, for that 10 years in my adult life. It would have been a lot easier on me. It's like, it would have been great for this YouTube thing to exist when I was coming up. Oh, wouldn't it have been great to have all this free advice? Wow, that really would have helped me when I was struggling in college. Or wow, that inspirational content would have helped me get through all that depression stuff. And I do the content that I think would have been helpful to someone like me. I was the use case for my channel. I built a channel for people like me, either with my actual struggles or my actual experiences in life, or my actual or the aspirations to do the things that I'd done in my career or in my business. And that turned out to, by happenstance, be a significantly larger amount of people than I would have expected. So, that's what, goes through my mind when I look at this stuff. I look at this stuff and I see, oh, I know what would work. Do I actually want to do that? And a lot of times the answer is no. What would work and what the demand and supply aspect of YouTube is doesn't fit with what my personal goals for my community are, doesn't fit with what some people tell me they're struggling with, doesn't fit with what I care about at the moment, and so guess what happens? I don't make those videos. So I don't make videos predicated on whether or not they're going to grow the channel at this point. But that's a choice I personally made. I understand that other people are not like that, and I understand that people have invested either more emotionally or financially into YouTube as a system. I always knew that YouTube was vulnerable, so I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And I'm glad, because it would be a lot more depressing to have put 3 hours into a 4-minute video and traveled to New York, got access to a new product, did all these cool things, worked with a brand, and get this many views on a video. It would have been really depressing if I was much more emotionally invested in the platform than I am. That would have been devastating. Getting sick and having to take a break from making videos and then having that tank views, that would have been a lot more depressing if I was more emotionally committed and invested into the platform. But, I'm not as emotionally or financially committed to the platform as some people, which means I can take those things in stride more. And again, proof positive that I'm not bluffing about, oh, I know what will perform on this channel. Well, if you want to look at recent videos, yeah, recent videos, they've been hit or miss. But here's the thing. We also have videos where I knew that this would perform well and it still performs well, and this is racking up on average about almost 15,000 new views a month. So I know that that's going to hit 100,000 views this year, and then it's going to escalate. So there's that. This outperformed my expectations. So did this one. This one is right on track, and these will have a lot more views by the end of the year. And there will be more content that works that way. So yeah, I know what I would need to do in order to get a video to pop. It's not like I'm always interested in doing that, and I have my reasons. I mean, there's a video that I am going to do about the iPhone, but I literally know every time I do an Apple, you can see that every time I do an Apple-related video, it does fairly well. Now, if it's not something as mundane as just an unboxing, it'll do even better. If it is, now the like ratio on that, because anything Apple-related is polarizing, well, it is what it is. But if it's a general mundane titled Apple video, then it doesn't work. But if it's anything, and I put anything the least bit emotionally charged or controversial in the title of an Apple video, then I know that will perform. Usually if I put any type of $ in a video, it will perform. So I know, what has historically worked in the context of this channel, and so I can make some determinations in my strategy based on that, and it usually works out relatively well. But that's not the same thing as doing content that I want to do or that I think is meaningful. A primary example would be the fact that I post my speaking engagements. I post these hour-long speaking engagements that I do at events and conferences that people buy tickets to. And interestingly, it racks up ridiculously good watch time. People watch it literally all the way to the end when they watch it. But despite the fact that these are seminars that people pay to go to, that I post online for free, not nearly the majority of people on the channel watch them. which is interesting, but it is what it is. Like I said, it's supply and demand. Now, if you look at this cycle back here of when I did a lot of back-to-back tutorial content, last year, if you look at that, it performs. And so if it's not like I don't know what will work here. And I know that if I did a cycle of things that either cover specific apps or specific software, that it performs on the channel. And the thing is, anybody can do this. Anybody can audit their channel. Anyone can audit their channel, and anybody can see, well, what should I make for my channel? In fact, there's a new tool here in VIDIQ, who is sponsoring today's video. See how I just tied that all together again? And see, VIDIQ says the same thing that I said. VIDIQ is bringing this up, and let's give you a closer look here. VIDIQ is bringing up the same things that I said ultimately work. It's telling me content to double down on. It says that these videos get me a certain amount of views per hour. It says that in total watch time minutes that these videos are popular. These videos are driving subscribers to the channel. These videos have a high engagement rate. These are search terms that people who watch my channel care about, which means, passive income, that's a big deal. Growing your YouTube channel, of course. How to market your business, yep. Certain apps, Anchor, people are getting into that right now. How to advertise your business, how to become a graphic designer. Okay, wow, I could leverage these search terms, and that's a big deal. It's telling me that my titles and description lengths on average are pretty good. There are a few videos without end screens that I should do something about. So it tells me that this video has no end screens, this one does, and this one doesn't, which are all live streams, so I can fix that. That's not a big deal. But yeah, this channel audit tool in VidIQ is actually really healthy. Tells me that I'm on average posting 2.8 videos a week. I'm going to get that number up again. My SEO scores are good. So in terms of things I'm doing right, all of that's in the green. Most of these things I'm doing right. There's one video I haven't added to a playlist, one video that needs a custom thumbnail, 3 that can use some end screens. That's an easy fix. But in terms of what videos are driving subscribers, it's telling me, make more videos like this. Make videos about making money, make videos about growing YouTube, make videos about growing a business, make videos about starting your career as a designer. These things will perform on my channel. Engagement rate, the motivational videos and the videos about personal branding, massive engagement. Those are big engagement numbers. So it's telling me to do that. It's telling me I'm a little down compared to last month, by a certain percentage points. Okay, that's fine. That's whatever. So the channel audit tool in VidIQ is really helpful if you want to get some context on your channel. So go to vidiq.com/Roberto, get your 30-day free trial of VidIQ, and see if you can figure out how to use that to help grow your channel and to narrow your focus around your content with the new channel audit tool. Thanks VidIQ for sponsoring today's video. So if you didn't notice, that is the proper way to do a sponsor plug if you guys have ever thought about that. That's the way you do it. So yeah, that is kind of what I have to say about content strategy. You understand now that my content strategy is not predicated on growth, but you can build a content strategy on growth, and I showed you kind of how you can audit that, what you can do, ways to think about it. I ran through my presentation with you guys. I'm going to practice it a couple of more times and try it out on some friends before Wednesday, put together my slides this weekend, and I'm going to be able to narrow the focus. I'm going to get some bullet points in. I'm going to be able to do it. So all of that is something I'm working on. As for YouTube viewer sponsors, thank you to all of the viewer sponsors. I'm working on some special stuff for you guys. I'm still trying to figure out what special things to do for my sponsors, but I think a lot of it's going to probably be Photoshop stuff as far as my own artwork. I actually hooked you guys up with a cool piece of, what was it? what's the phrase I'm looking for? Oh, yeah, a phone wallpaper. I hooked you guys up with this phone wallpaper. It's the phone wallpaper I use. It's artwork of me. There's other cool things that I'm working on in terms of like little digital download things, just like something to say thank you. And then some possibly like link roundups and things like that. I'll have to think about what to do for people who are like $5 a month sponsors on the channel, but I appreciate you guys. I also appreciate all the super chats. So thank you guys for everybody who asked questions in super chat. Appreciate you. But yeah, I genuinely believe right now that focused content is the entire game. And if you focus on content that is historically performed on your channel at every given point, and you do that content almost exclusively, if it's proven to grow your channel and you do more of it, you can only grow your channel with it. So that works. My strategy of evergreen content does that, regardless of what I currently do. And so I feel like those are things that work. Now, like I said, and I went into my rant about this, I think that people who focused on growth and worry about their channel dying are finding that their creativity is dying, and that's why everyone's talking about burning out on YouTube. Everyone's talking about burning out. I mean, you could argue it's a good problem to have, but, I mean, recovering from something happening with your YouTube channel might seem hard, but recovering from not feeling creative anymore, or feeling like you're not doing what you love anymore, or feeling burdened by it, is a lot harder to deal with than whatever happens with your YouTube channel. Nikisha Wynn says, I have a new channel. How long should I wait before looking at stats to determine what's working for growth? When growth actually starts happening. It's not a time-sensitive thing. It's when growth starts happening. So if you have a video that outperforms other videos, try making a similar video to that one as much as possible. And then ask people who engage with that video what else they want. Similar. And that should do well. Because you have feedback and you have data. So that's what I would say about it. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, again, it's hard. It's hard because a lot of these, creators or people I know personally, or they become friends from the internet. It's like, I know some of you are not in the position of having a larger channel and then burning out, or even burning out, and all you'd love to grow, and you feel like it'd be a good problem to have 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 subscribers, and to have to keep making content for those people. But it wears you down when you get to that point, and if you're only doing it based on, but if I don't do this, I won't grow anymore. Like, it's a real conversation that people are having. It's something that's happening, and it could happen to you guys too. It might not happen now, but like 2 or 3 years from now, you could have a larger channel, and then you could feel exactly what I'm saying is like, wow, you're not even making content for yourself anymore, and there's all these things you want to do and express, and like you don't feel like you have any outlet for it, because if you do it, your channel dies, your channel suffers. You're like, I'm not sure theoretically. Actually, not even theoretically. For a long time, I actually watched, and it's like, do you know what's one of the things that did technically kind of hurt this channel is me doing live streams. Like, one of the things that actually hurt this channel is me doing live streams, believe it or not. Like, I have the data, I'm looking at it. Like, that started, like, some issues. But I said, okay, fine. Like, there's content that I did that didn't perform, but that everyone who did watch it responded very well to it. And you noticed when I showed you guys my stuff that most of my videos get favorable like ratios and get massive amounts of engagement regardless of views. It's just like my Instagram. I get more engagement than people with much bigger audiences and more likes and everything. I get more comments and I get more interaction. And it's something that my channel is known for at this point. My channel over-indexes on watch time and engagement and drastically underperforms in views. And it's a balance that I've just personally accepted a long time ago. right? It's like this channel could get to 1 million or 500,000 and I will still get 10,000 or less, 5,000 or less views on a freaking video. I guarantee you that I could get 1 million subscribers and I will have videos that tank with 3,000 freaking views. And so what's the point of growing subscribers? What's the point of caring about a gold play button? Like, it doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant. I'd rather build content and know that I built the greatest reference channel for creatives, entrepreneurs, freelancing, aspiring creators. I'd rather literally know that on a content archive 100% that I believe, regardless of any numbers, that I built the greatest thing of all freaking time for the misfit toys like me, and I'm happy with that right now. I'd rather even win on the volume game of in the things that I do, multi-tiered, of knowing that I'm the only person with 500 videos in that category out of my 1,200 now. I'd rather go to 2,000, 3,000 videos, have 300 videos in every single thing that I do and crush it and be the volume leader, the volume thought leader on all of that, and have the shittiest view to sub ratio in the world. Believe it. Hand to God. Like, because what are views and subscribers? Like, what is that, validation? So it's whatever. Like, I mean, I go and I speak at events sometimes. I go and I speak in events in small towns, smaller conferences, and it's like 80 people. But I know I'm going to change their career. I'm going to change their business. It's like, what, those 80 people don't matter or something like that? That's underperforming? What, because I didn't pack out the room with like, 200 people? Those 80 people in the room don't matter? Like, what is that? Just because, like, there's 200 seats and I only fill 80 of them, those 80 people are irrelevant somehow? Like, what is that? So, why think about it? Hero Vange, should I quit on my YouTube? If you're not happy, if you're making content that you want to make, keep making it. If you're not happy, I don't know why you should do something that you're not happy about. Like, I mean, you have a silver play button, you have 100,000 subscribers. Why do you want to quit YouTube? Swoop, how's it going? Let's see. Ames Game says, so is it okay if my gaming channel focus on gaming news and primarily Let's Plays, like I have Elder Scrolls 6 video with 1,500 views, but all my Let's Play videos average 5 to 10 views per video? Jesus Christ. Like, if you have a video that has 1,500 views and then your other videos are getting like 5 to 10, if you care about growing your channel, do videos like the one that got 1,500 views instead of 5 to 10 views, because it's literally 10,000 times growth. I don't think, like, that's 1,000 to 10,000 times growth. I don't think that that's rocket science, clearly. But if you care about growing, if you don't care about growing, make whatever you want and pray for views. But if you care about growing, make the content that's growing your channel, make the thing that's performing on your channel, right? If you don't care about growing and you just care about like making what you want or creatively, or this is a hobby for you, then I wouldn't worry about it. Hero Van says, well, I'm on Twitch and I'm feeling more progress over there. I mean, if you're not feeling YouTube anymore, the answer is don't do YouTube. If you aren't enjoying YouTube, don't do YouTube. If you like Twitch more, do Twitch more. Like, if you feel there's a reason, and if it's not financially viable to continue YouTube versus Twitch and you're making more money with Twitch, then do Twitch. Strict Studio says I'm having 20% click-through rates. Good for you. That's a ridiculous click-through rate. PewDiePie doesn't have a 20% click-through rate, I don't think. But low impressions. What can I do to improve impressions? You got to improve retention rates, probably. But inevitably, you should get more impressions if you're getting a 20% click-through rate. Kit slams there are no video length benchmarks. There are no video length benchmarks. It's predicated on how the audience responds to a video. You can change video lengths all you want, but if your audience doesn't actually respond to it with watch time and retention rates and all of those things, then it doesn't matter what you do. Like, I mean, I'll be very frank with you guys. I mean, part of the reason I don't talk about the algorithm as much as I'd like you guys to clearly have an understanding of it to build off of something for strategy. The thing is, you guys are trying to game the algorithm instead of trying to build a strategy. So I don't even think I'm going to stop talking about the algorithm after the next couple of months. After the next couple of months and after I put out my course, after this next course comes out, I'm probably not going to talk about the algorithm anymore on this channel ever again after I put up my course, because I don't think you guys understand that you can't game the algorithm. You have to use the algorithm to help you inform a content strategy by understanding why these things would matter. And it doesn't matter how many speeches I give, it doesn't matter how many lectures it gives, it doesn't matter how much training I give. I can't seem to get people to understand that. So I'm just going to stop talking about the algorithm. I'm just going to stop talking about the algorithm because no one's going to get it. I'm going to stop talking about the algorithm because you guys aren't going to get it, because everyone's going to try and hack it. Everyone wants to hack. Everyone wants a silver bullet answer, and is not thinking deeper about this, and is not answering a simple question. It's a very simple question. What would my audience enjoy, and what is worth it to them to give up 10 minutes of their life that they're never going to get back, and what about that would make them share this in Facebook, share this in Reddit, share this in Twitter? What would make them like this enough to drop a comment on it? What would make them like this thing enough to put their money where their mouth is? It's really simple. Think like a fan. Think like a fan. Stop trying to think like a robot and trying to game an algorithm, and then say, okay, the way that YouTube interprets this is that if I am keeping people on YouTube with my content, it means that my content is enjoyable. If people are going to youtube.com because of my content is enjoyable, and my content gets people on youtube.com. If people are sharing my content in Reddit and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, then that means my content is enjoyable and is driving people to youtube.com. If my videos are getting people to watch all the way to the end, or at least halfway on average, then my videos are keeping people on YouTube longer, and that is good for YouTube. And it also means that I made quality content if I got retentions and I got watch time. If I get people to binge watch 3 to 5 videos, then they love me and my content. They love my personality, and I kept them on youtube.com a lot longer. It's really simple. But no matter how many times I say it, everyone wants a magic fix for the algorithm, and no one understands it. So after the next 3 months or so, and unless people buy my course where I do talk about it on the analytics training, I'm going to stop talking about the algorithm, because I'm sick and tired of people pandering to the algorithm. I'm tired of people being slaves to the YouTube treadmill machine, and I'm fed up. I'm fed up. Oh, it's not you. It's not a one person. It's not a one person. I just literally have an inbox full of people that are doing this, and I have live streams that are just full of people doing this, and it's like, it's mind-boggling to me, to where it's like, how is this not obvious yet? The next course is the YouTube Analytics course. It's going to be coming out for VidCon, because there were changes even last week, so that means updates. So so it's so simple. It's so simple. If you keep people on YouTube, YouTube will promote your content. If your content brings people to YouTube, YouTube will promote your content. If people watch your content back to back, YouTube will promote your content. The algorithm is not much more complicated than this. There are nuances of it that are complicated, and the programming language is certainly complicated, and the thresholds and the numbers and the this and the that and everyone says no one knows the algorithm. No one knows the algorithm. Look, you don't have to finish a puzzle to understand what it is from the corners, and you can guess a lot with a lot of very basic and simple information. I did a whole live stream about the algorithm already. I've covered this multiple times. I've talked to YouTube engineers. I've talked to data scientists who have case studies of 1,000 videos. I've linked to articles on this that have been done by the top leading people in these fields that study the artificial intelligence of YouTube for corporations, and I've been told that I have a really good understanding of it. And it's really simple. It's really simple. So I'm going to outline this one last bloody time, and I'm going to make a video dedicated to this one last bloody time. And then other than that, it's people who buy the course, because I'm tired of everyone saying misinformation about the YouTube algorithm. I'm tired of people saying that no one can know the algorithm, because the things that we need to know, the things that are actionable, here's the thing. No matter how many times I say it, the far majority of you don't even know what to do with it. Literally, YouTube and Google could print out what would be a 600-page document about the algorithm, and you guys would be in tears. Number 1, increase your click-through rates on YouTube by making better thumbnails and better titles that attract attention and curiosity. Increase your click-through rates, which is impressions versus clicks. Increase your click-through rates. This is available in the YouTube beta dashboard. So that's number 1. Increase your click-through rates. Number 2, increase your video view retention on individual videos in order to drive more impressions and surfacing of those videos. Get viewers on average to watch more than 51% of your videos by structuring your content to be engaging and to be good content that people watch through to the end, so you have over 51% on individual viewer retention per individual video. So that's number 2. Number 3, optimize the metadata of your content, aka the search engine optimization of your content, using tools like VIDIQ and TubeBuddy and MORNINGFAME, because robots in YouTube don't know how funny you are, how clever you are, how pretty you are, how well spoken you are. They are robots. They need data. They need input. The metadata is the data that they have to categorize and to rank and to distribute and to relate videos to one another. So optimize your videos with metadata. That is number 3. Number 4, increase the number of video views per average viewer by getting people to watch more content on your channel and keeping them on YouTube. Use playlist strategies for this, use episodic content for this, use a consistent personality and themes and visual branding to get people to watch more of your videos in succession. That is number 4. Number 5, keep people on the YouTube platform by not exiting them from YouTube when you are trying to grow. If you want to have people click on links to buy your products or merchandise or services, it is sacrificing the growth of your channel. So you have to make a choice between things that make you money and things that grow your channel, and you have to produce enough content that grows the channel versus doing those other things when you are in growth mode. If you have sufficient growth, then you cash out and you take people off of the site. This is what's known as session ends. You want to limit the amount of session ends. That is number 4. Number 2, you want to increase session starts. You want to increase session starts by driving people to youtube.com from other high traffic websites, which means you either need to get media attention and get stuff like BuzzFeed or Forbes or Vice or whatever, or you need to have your stuff shored in Reddit communities or go viral on Twitter, and then you're driving traffic from other websites that compete with YouTube to youtube.com and starting sessions. So starting sessions is important. Limiting the amount of YouTube sessions that your videos are responsible for ending is important. So those are number 4 and number 5. Number 6, session watch time, which is not something that is displayed in the analytics dashboard. Keep people on YouTube as long as possible. Even if it is not watching your videos, keep them on YouTube as long as possible. This is why related videos are important, playlists are important, series are important, linking to other videos, collaborations are important. Anything you can do that keeps people on YouTube longer is to your credit as a channel and your overall channel authority. So that is why that is number 6. Number 7, overall channel watch time. Overall channel watch time and individual video watch time are fundamentally important to growing a YouTube channel, because it is the variable that YouTube uses to determine like a bunch of the other stuff that we just talked about, whether it's retention rates on the average video or whether or not it is the session time, and all these other variables are contingent on watch time in the first place. And it's also the proof that a video is worthwhile, because a view can be faked by a bot or a view could be tricks from clickbait, but if you're accumulating watch time, then it means that people are making an investment in their video because they don't get that time back. Time is currency, so that is why that one is number 7. Number 8, overall engagement. Overall engagement in terms of likes, views, shares, subscribes, everything counts. Everything that shows that you have an engaging video ultimately counts, because the video drove some type of meaningful action and triggered someone to take another step. So overall engagement and the engagement ratio does matter, because it proves that this is something that people are responding to. So those things matter. Even if it's dislikes, it means that it was emotionally charged. They count the same as likes. Comments count for probably the most. Comments also mean that someone probably watched more of a video and they're at least on YouTube longer if they're commenting, which adds to session time, and etc, etc, etc. So these are the 8 major components and variables and factors of the algorithm. Now, deriving and reverse engineering a strategy from this requires a certain level of specific analytical talent, because you would have to prioritize what type of content within your niche and within your scope of talent and abilities is capable of doing this. What can you do in terms of formats and structures and titling and sequences to accomplish these goals? Are you financially capable of keeping people on YouTube versus taking them off to make another financial goal happen? Are you capable of attracting the right media attention to start new sessions? Do you have a large enough inventory of content to keep people on YouTube longer? Are you have an ability to post and upload frequently enough to do all of these things? Can you maintain that standard of quality? Do you have the on-camera presence and everything? And all of that, you still would have to devise a viable strategy for the type of content that you do, and find that that type of thing that you're capable of supplying is in enough demand to meet all the numbers that you would need to make, which means that you actually would have to be very smart at this, or stumble into it and be very lucky, or work with a larger entity that was capable of this, or get one-on-one coaching, or be able to reverse engineer enough of it to figure it out. This is why the majority of people are not successful on YouTube, because of the singular amount of overall intelligence, talent, emotional equity, charisma, and the supply and demand side of YouTube required to actually be successful is why most people are not successful if what they're counting as successful is either making enough money to make a living, or getting a silver or gold play button, or dominating their overall niche, or going viral. So, yes, stop crying to the algorithm. It can't hear you. So thank you for that, Leah. I like that saying. I'm going to steal that. Thank you. So yes, stop crying to the algorithm. It can't hear you. Juice, how you doing, buddy? Roberto, because of you, I've been sponsored by over 3 companies. That's awesome, Juice. Juice, what are you up to? About you're what, 5K, 10K by now? I remember when you had 200 subs or something like that. And I remember when you made a video where you were you're at 15,000. Congrats. That's a better, you got a better banner than what you had. These thumbnails are coming along. They're not bad. These thumbnails aren't bad, dude. You're doing some playlists, you're doing some things. There's a few things you could do to tune up the channel. But Juice, I remember way back when I think you had maybe 200 subscribers. You did a video where you were hypothesizing. You weren't calling us out, but you were hypothesizing whether me and video influencer Sean Cannell were a scam or not. Remember, this was a video way back like maybe a year ago or something like that, and you've been crushing it and using the advice and the tools, and you're at like 15K. So I guess we're not a scam. So no, I just like Juice. I'm like really proud of what you managed to accomplish, man. And I just like because that's what started like my awareness of you was my commenting on that video. I just had to razz you about it a little bit, but like good on you, buddy. You've been killing it, like, cause like I said, I saw when you like had like a very small, like a super like small following, like I think it was a year ago, and now you're like over 10K, you're at 15K, so that means you have access to all the tools. So good on you, buddy. Good on you. So yeah, like that's where I am at mentally with like all this stuff. Like it's that like let's see, like Patty's saying something here. Patty says, Roberto, it's not just the YouTube algorithm, it's anything that requires effort. Nobody wants to put in time and effort on anything. They all want a magic bullet. I see it in knitting and sewing as well. I mean, yeah. Hero Van says, I've been trying to record content, but I find myself doing videos up to 5 a.m. in the morning and not really being happy with the way the videos come out. Like, Hero, I think that you might be suffering from YouTube burnout. And, I mean, the only answer for it, to be honest with you, is to take the risk of doing content that you actually are happy with and just stop caring about how it performs and just hope and trust in your audience to support you and do stuff that creatively you want. DSLR video shooter, how are you? Like, man, I love your videos. Like, to be very real with you, I love your videos. Yeah, it's Friday. Friday means less to me at 34 than it did at 24. Like, I'm getting up there. Family Fanware says, I have a startup business. I create t-shirt designs and print for family members that have children in youth sports. Would it help sales if I create a YouTube channel showing how I create the product? I think not. I think that you would do better with running ads on YouTube to sell your product or service. Like, I think that you're in a situation where I don't think that the answer is like that kind of content marketing. I think that I'll tell you what I would do. Like, if your business is you create shirts and print for family members, if you guys have an actual shop and you do like printing and apparel, I would make a vlog season series about your business, about the actual business, almost like a docu-series of behind the scenes about the business. And I would also run ads that are ads for the business. So I would do that. Like, that's how I would go. Juice, I'm not going to run for office. Do you realize how much power I would have to give up to be a politician when I can build something like Viacom? I'd rather build the next Viacom. Because, again, if you control enough media, you can basically do anything. That's been made obvious. You realize how much power you'd have to give up to be a public official versus a media mogul? I mean, unless you're going to be Michael Bloomberg and do both. Or you could be a billionaire and you could just buy all the politicians through campaign contributions, of course. Anyway. This is an interesting question. Kit Slams Art. Roberto, when you were young, did you have any intrinsic thoughts or feelings that you would one day be successful? How long has this trajectory been? I mean, I've thought about owning my own business since I was a kid, but the traditional narrative is that I would have had to have been 40 or 50 to then start a business after having a successful corporate career, and that was the trajectory I was on in my 20s because that's what you're told. And then I was like, nah, I think I understand enough to completely circumvent that, and so I did. So that is what I would say about that. I've always had that ambition and desire in me. I didn't necessarily know or have a framework for what a practical application of that would be. If I existed when I was young as a option in terms of content or mentorship, then I would have had a better framework for executing on my ambition. As it stands, for a very long time, I didn't have a good framework for executing on my ambition. In fact, I think that's the problem with YouTube, is that for what most people don't have is they don't have a clear ambition beyond the subscriber and view count optics, which are, again, it's just optics, but it's also, again, understanding that only represents the ability to meet supply and demand logistics, which are fickle at best when you think about audience attention, especially if you look at the key demographics of the age demographics of YouTube. That's arbitrary. That being said, I understand that most people, like, look, you make something, you put a lot of work and effort in, you don't want it to be ignored, and I totally get that as a creative. I totally understand. It's not that I'm unsympathetic to that. It's that I think the price has become too high based on the ruthlessness of the platform, and based on the fickleness of the general user base to not necessarily support, like, certain types of content. And then on the business side, the advertisers aren't supporting certain types of content either. So essentially, everyone's put in this position to where their voice isn't their voice, if that's what it's going to be. Like, that they would have to sacrifice, what they really want to do on the altar of quote-unquote YouTube success. And I don't agree with that thesis, and that's why I circumvented it. But that's also because what I guess I want to do allows for that, which, as I guess, puts me in a position of what you could call privilege. But I don't think that I'm an anomaly in that, and I don't think it's only because I'm an education channel. I think that there are ways and strategies and things people could do. I just don't think it's easy, and I think that that's the problem. The lunch files, you're saying that you're working your second job while your laptop is in your car. Like, here, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, the reason I don't have to care about how YouTube stuff is going is because I built a business and a strategy online with my online ventures that, independently of the YouTube channel, would protect me financially enough to not worry about it. And I did this from the very beginning because from the very beginning, I didn't put my eggs in the YouTube basket. I was using it as a marketing platform for my personal brand and business. So in order to accomplish this, if I were any of you, here's my answer. Affiliate marketing outside of your core YouTube channel based on a skill or a area expertise that you might have or have access to that allows you to make money. And again, is it focused on your YouTube content or YouTube audience? Something else that you could spin off. Something like all I do sometimes is spin off ideas that could make me more money than my YouTube channel. And it's like, it's all these things that make more money than my YouTube channel. And because of that, I never worry about my YouTube channel, right? Like, with affiliate marketing, one of my affiliate marketing things does like 5K. One of them does like 12K a month. Another one does a couple of hundred, but I think I know how to get it to like 1,500 a month. Like, I can easily, and I don't necessarily always use the YouTube. The thing is, the YouTube channel doesn't convert as much for some of those affiliate things. Articles that I write do better. Articles are converting, and social media posts are converting more for me than the YouTube videos when it comes to those click-throughs. So I'm measuring that on the back end. And so I do that. Sales of my own product and services make me more money. So I built all those things out. And now that I'm doing the podcast affiliate links are going to actually, and they're already popping a little bit, despite not posting as frequently. But I'm about to move to doing more weekly content on the podcast. I'm going to focus more on the podcast after this summer than the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is not going away. It's not dying. I'm launching a second YouTube channel. For a podcast. So one of our first interviews will be Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD. So yeah, that's going to probably do well. And, I think that I can get the second channel to 10,000 subscribers within a year. I don't really think that doing it within a year matters, but I'm pretty confident that I can. And someone can make the argument of, oh, but you already have another channel to pull from. It's like, yeah, but that's like no different than quote unquote getting a shout out, right? It's that the content would have to actually be good. And so, there are things I'm going to do with that, but the main thing I want you guys to understand is that, like, for the last maybe year and a half to 2 years, there's been much more of my energy focused on ventures outside of YouTube that make me money than on worrying about my YouTube channel or growing my YouTube channel. I appreciate that I have 300,000 subscribers. I don't take it for granted, but I'm like, if I actually was concentrating on YouTube, I'd probably have 500,000, 600,000 subscribers if I was actually concentrating on YouTube, because I had a dip when I went to not doing daily content. If I were to go back to doing daily content, or if I had maintained doing daily content, it would meant that I would have been still hitting, like, or I'll put it like this. If I use the trajectory of what my friend Amy Landino has been doing, then it would mean that if I've been sticking with daily and had used what I know, then right now she's doing 1,000 to 1,200 new subscribers per day. If I were doing that even over the last 6 months, that means on average that would have been 10,000 to 15,000 per month over the last 6 months, which would have added another 100K, which means, yeah, I'd be at about, like, on the trajectory of doing that, then it would mean I'd already be at 400,000, and by the end of the year, I'd be at 500,000. So, but I didn't do that, and I haven't been doing daily content because I'm not going to abuse myself for the YouTube treadmill. Yeah, you can make a few bucks off of Amazon, but there are more lucrative things on the internet to do to make money. Painfully Honest Tech is, so what do I spin off? It would come down to what your skills and your strengths are. I mean, because I have a background in the internet and web hosting and things of that, it's like there's a massive amount of affiliate money for me to make because of the things I understand in software and appliances and online marketing and online business. It's like, it's a bottomless pit of affiliate programs. And if I build blogs and microsites around individual affiliate programs that rank for searches and have traffic, and if I build an ad marketing funnel, it's a bottomless pit of being able to siphon traffic that converts to those affiliate sales for anywhere for $50 to $200 a sale. But that's assuming that I don't go the product route of focusing on my $99 product and then figuring out the formula for a $2 well, not like a $2, but a ratio where in an 80-20 ratio where for every $2 I put in, I get $10 back. If I figure out an ad sales system that translates to for every $2 I put in, every $10 I get back, then it's the 80-20 rule. So but I have those skills, right? I have that previous knowledge to go on. So it's one of those, the answer to quitting your day job is you have to build a healthy 5 to 6 figure business that is completely independent of an individual platform or an individual technology. And if you can do that, or if you can diversify a piece of revenue, like if you could diversify something and do that, then that's the answer. That's the answer. I don't think I have another point to make. Roberto, if I make tutorials for the new games that I'm playing, SEO and advertise properly, would it be possible to grow out of my own shadow? It depends. It depends because the problem is that gaming is a fickle market, you know. So it depends. Chad B, which social media channels work well for conversion? I mean, it's not down to the social media channels. It's down to the execution of the individual. So I would say that it really does come down to what your strengths are, what you're capable of, how you're able to leverage the platform. I think it makes a difference. But keep in mind, like if you start doing affiliate marketing, affiliate links, whatever platform you are working in, if you're getting a lot of those clicks, then it hurts your sessions, and so that hurts growth. But you know, if someone curses, do they automatically become demonetized? It depends. It's not been proven 110% one way or the other, but it's safer not to. Hero Van says, I'm not worried about the money. What you said earlier about having a legacy of having the best channel for your thing, that's the dream. Yeah, then do that. Like my focus is and would be that. I mean, I do think about the money, but the money is not YouTube AdSense. I literally am just using that at this point to pay taxes and to pay back taxes. That's my YouTube money gets to go to the federal government. So that's how I look at it. Which is fine. What I care about is the fact that I can use the leverage of my channel as an effective traffic funnel and marketing tool on the business side while building out exactly the thing that I want from a legacy standpoint to make that practical, because there's no point in having anything that's unsustainable. There's no point in having something that's unsustainable. So for me, I'm trying to move more creators away from worrying about AdSense. But if they do move away from AdSense, then they absolutely need the brand relationships, which means they have to care about view thresholds sometimes, unless they can build or prove conversions. And what I have is my platform as a public speaker, a consultant, and a marketer to use as leverage to completely erase the thing that I need to worry about with views. And I'm a proven salesman. So, and a lot of brands would rather have the relationship with me as a leader, an expert, and a subject matter expert, and an authority than worry about my views. It's why I'm also starting to write out this book. I decided to postpone the book on personal branding in favor of a book on creating online video as a practical measure, and also as a measure for selling a marketing funnel through that book to a course that I sell as well for people who want more depth. And so that's smart, and that also would give me much more leverage in the speaking world to do more things and do more paid speaking, especially abroad. So that's what represents for me the unconventional strategy. Hero Vange, for your particular genre with making 2 to 4 minute videos that are answering commonly asked questions and mass produce them, I would have to see you try it and then see how it performs. You'd have to do it and see how it performs, because it's predicated on an audience that's wildly unpredictable in your case. So, that's the thing. Guys, I'm getting ready to run, but I hope you enjoyed today's live stream brought to you by our sponsor, VIDIQ. Check out VIDIQ/Roberto, links in the description. Also, I'm doing an early coupon sale on Awesome Creator Academy for majority of the products there, and that is in the description down below for you guys. VidCon 2018 is the coupon code for 35% off for the Formula for Awesome videos, for private coaching, YouTube channel reviews, and the YouTube Starter Kit. The other 2 products are a regular price, so that just is what it is. But yeah, other than that, all the discount codes, resources, and links are in the description down below as always. This episode of the live stream will go up when YouTube's done processing it later tonight. So definitely, come back, check that out, drop a comment, whatever. And guys, thank you for letting me run through my presentation for the first hour or so, and helping me work through that and work through my frustrations with it. I think I'm going to structure it differently. I'm going to work on it all this weekend. There's some videos I need to edit too, but I'm going to primarily work on that this weekend. And I think it's going to do really well. So thanks you guys for letting me talk my thoughts out with that. And then giving some really good questions. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for those of you who sponsor the channel. I'm working on getting some goodies for you guys, so I really do appreciate all of it, and it means the world to me. Like, views and subscriber counts may not matter, but like, people matter, and I actually do appreciate you guys making a commitment to me. It's part of why I'm able to continue to make a commitment to all of you, and don't think that while I don't necessarily value and chase those numbers of growth, don't think that it doesn't mean anything to me to see that you guys support me, because it does. It does mean something, and I understand that many creators, that your frustration is not necessarily those numbers by themselves, but the feeling of being supported. I think you look at those numbers and that's what you're deriving from that, but I want you to look at your comments and derive from that. I want you to, to think about that. Roberto, if you ever have any plans to make videos about things, please think about any content that would help people like me. There are a lot of people who have shifted channel topics and themes. I get that, and but my answer to it, at least from the way that the audience and user behavior is, Hero Vange, is that if you're going to ship topics or themes and it's not directly related to the thing that you started out with, it's time to start another channel. That's the way it is now. I would have had a different answer for you in 2013, but the way it is now is the way it is. Audiences have less patience. Audiences don't like confusion. They can't figure things out. Look, I constantly suffer the frustration of people not watching certain videos and thinking that this is a YouTube tips channel like my friends Nick Nimmin and Daryl Leaves and Brian G. Johnson, when this is a channel around entrepreneurship. This is a channel around entrepreneurship and creativity. YouTube is an outlet for creativity if you want it to be. It's an outlet for the beginnings of entrepreneurship and marketing yourself if you want it to be. And it's really the only reason I talk about it. And it's because you guys wanted to know how to do something that I've done. And that's all my channel has ever been, is telling you guys how to do things that I know how to do. That's what I'm here to do for you guys. And it's frustrating sometimes that people want to pigeonhole me. I don't want to make, like, if people keep pushing my hand, I might literally, there might be a point, despite how successful it's been to me, I could see a point where I stop putting YouTube this or YouTube that in the title of a video, and even if it gets less views, and stop talking about it and mention YouTube in the context of video marketing and hope that people can put two and two together. Like, I could see literally 2019, 2020, I could see quitting YouTube advice videos forever and talk about it in the context of video marketing and talk about multiple platforms and not put YouTube in the title of things, like, because it's getting frustrating. You know? So, I mean, I'm saying that for perspective. I'm not saying that to, like, make a threat. I'm just saying that to say it's frustrating to get, like, have people try to pigeonhole you into doing something because they don't have the patience to figure out context. Shell Bisley, like, what's your content? You say you've been putting in the effort a year and change and you can't figure out a strategy. What's your content? Attainable, sustainability. All right. So increasing watch time. Formats increase watch time. Structure increases watch time. On-camera presence, energy, and charisma increases watch time. If I didn't have stamina and if I was monotone all the time, I couldn't keep you guys around for the length of time that I keep you guys on these long live streams. It'd be impossible. Right? So, that's a thing. So if you want to increase watch time, look at instances where you've gotten watch time, replicate what performed well based on that, build structure into replicating that, and then rinse and repeat. If something works, you build it. The thing is, the reason that people can't do certain things is they're not auditing it. You're not auditing. If you don't know why something was successful and you just see, oh, well, this is successful when I do this and this and that, and then you don't make that repetitive or make that a system, then you can't be surprised that you're not repeating that result. So it's that most people are not building structure and building a system into something that has worked. Beanie draws. Do I think that showing finished artwork at the beginning of the video? I have no idea, to be honest with you. I have no idea whether that, because I think that I can't make a general statement about how people like art or speed art or tutorial videos, because I think it's predicated on the individual audience and what the majority of your audience, how they respond to that, or what's reflected in your data. I don't think I can make an assertion about how people respond to that method of doing an art video in a very general way. Sorry, I have to respond to a text. So, you know, like, I don't know that there's a blanket answer. Here, Avange. Roberto, you helped me out a ton, dude. I started watching you at 30K studs and all this stuff, for 30K subs and all the stuff you taught. All the stuff I learned from you got to me 100K. Just know how much I appreciate all the YouTube stuff you taught me. Awesome, that's cool. Appreciate that. Adrian Lard, any tips for someone who, like, getting shares on the live streams is what's going to help grow it. Like, getting shares and getting engagements, that's what it is. This should be taught in school. No, the business stuff that I talk about should be taught in school. The business stuff and entrepreneurship stuff that I talk about should be taught in school. The social media stuff, there's no point in teaching that in school at that point. It shifts too often for there to be a solid curriculum around it. So no, they shouldn't be teaching that. They should be teaching fundamental principles of strategy and approaching things, and the technical skills for social media, or generally that's actually just new media marketing at this point. But no, they don't need to teach this in schools. They don't need, and besides, they botch it anyway. So, no, they don't need to teach this in schools. They need to teach entrepreneurship in schools. They need to teach business. They need to teach self-promotion. They need to teach personal branding. They need to teach technical abilities and skills, and then people stop being poor. But, you know. Johan Sko says, "Hey Roberto, I've been following your advice and I started to upload animations to Instagram and Twitter to promote my brand. I've recently put more focus onto my YouTube channel and growing community." Awesome. Johan, how's Instagram performing on the animations? I'm about to go. I'm super tired. I need to sleep. And I need to work on these slides. And Shell Bisley, your thumbnails aren't bad, but if you actually improve the thumbnails, the click-through rates will definitely go up because you have an audience. You have 88,000 subscribers. There's things that can be done here that can improve everything, but watch time won't be improved by the thumbnails, but click-through rates and views can be improved by the thumbnails, and your sub growth can be improved by the thumbnails. But structure and energy output and those things are what increase watch time and retention rates. Also, volume of upload consistency, and whether the content is evergreen. Because, again, that's what does it for me. That's why I can outperform on that metric versus channels much bigger than mine. So I would do that. Victoria, I have Top Chat, so I don't know. I have Top Chat because I can't see. I don't put everything through the stream just because that would be overwhelming. So I let YouTube do Top Chat, and that's what I see. How do I think audio comics would do in the YouTube community? I think they do fine. Like, seriously, when I followed your advice, my videos jumped from like 10K views to hitting 50K views, and that's what pushed me up. Awesome. No, that's awesome. That's great to hear. I'm glad that works out. See, like, I mean, that's why I like to do things. I like to do things, and I see people grow and be much more successful than where they were with just a little bit of information and the way they implement it and the way they make it work for them and their audience. Like, you know, that makes me happy. And like, don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't want to see more people grow a YouTube channel. It's that I'm becoming disenchanted with the platform, with the culture, and with just seeing so many people that are successful creators be wildly unhappy. Just makes me not as interested. And, you know, I don't know. Thank you. I do appreciate knowing how much I've helped you guys. Like, that does mean a lot, Hero Vange. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like I'll maybe I'll feel better about it next week after VidCon. Maybe after VidCon I'll feel better. Like, I'm just getting so frustrated with the way that YouTube is handling things. Not because of me, but because it's sitting here literally putting people in tears and it's getting on my nerves. And then at the same time, I'm frustrated somewhat with the community for wrapping themselves so much into something they don't have control over. And it not working, and like it's just hard. It's just hard. And then I wonder if I'm contributing to it by telling people to how to grow a channel and getting them invested in YouTube, and they might not have a practical strategy for sustainability no matter what I say or what I do or whatever, or try to help them, and they just like just this rabbit hole. It's this rabbit hole. It's like YouTube's psychologically unhealthy, you know. I mean, I hope you guys do understand that YouTube can be psychologically unhealthy. Social media as a whole can be psychologically unhealthy if you overcommit to it. I think like I'm coming to grips with just like what it's doing to people around me. It's not happening to me, but I'm looking at it and it's concerning me, and I'm getting less interested, I think, maybe as a result of it. I don't know. Like, I mean, like, I'm just so tired of watching creators burnout and like having to like talk to people being scared to make content they want to make because what if it doesn't perform? What if the algorithm doesn't do this? What if the audience doesn't support them? I mean, like, look, do me a favor. Like, whether it's me or anybody else, if you went through the trouble to I know that this person's trolling, but this is going to be a perfect opportunity for me to unleash some frustration. And I know this person's trolling. So to the troll in the live comments of what would we all do if the internet went down. First of all, if the internet itself went down, then that would represent a communications crisis globally, which could lead to a lot of different problems if the internet went down. Multi-billion-dollar businesses and corporations, the stock market, there are a lot of things that would go wrong. So it wouldn't be just down to us. It would be a lot of businesses, large and small, that would be affected if the internet went down. Even the people who work those good old traditional jobs and manual labor. The thing is, the payment and auditing systems for everything they do, the communications, shipping, and logistics for everything they do, that would be thrown out of whack because of the way our infrastructure is, which means that they would be out of jobs too, or would be frustrated too, or at bare minimum wouldn't be able to get a paycheck, or wouldn't be able to check their bank account, or what have you. So if the entire internet went down, it's not just us people that would have to be worrying about our jobs, it's probably you and everybody else in the world, because it would represent a communications catastrophe because it's part of the infrastructure at this point. So aside from the people living in third world countries, most of the people in the world, at least the developing world, would be okay. But the Western world would pretty much be screwed if the internet went down. So, that's what would I do if there never was an internet? There's no point in really answering that because there is an internet. There is an internet. But I'm really good at marketing and sales. There's always something for people who are good at marketing and sales. Before the internet existed, there were salesmen. You want to know what I'd be doing? Watch Mad Men. Watch Mad Men on Netflix. That's what I'd be doing. If the internet didn't exist, I probably would have been an advertising executive and an alcoholic. There. That's my answer. If the internet didn't exist, I would be a Mad Men style Don Draper type, like with an alcohol problem. That's probably what I'd be. So that's your answer. So yeah, we end on that happy note. Johan Sko, thank you for being part of the community and helping others even with the challenges it brings. We may struggle, but it has changed our lives so much. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I super appreciate that. Let's see here. Yep. So, yeah. I mean, Well, anyway, I don't think as much about like the what ifs and the things of that nature because I mean, there's no point. But what I do think about is I think about what I'm seeing, and what I see is I see people getting discouraged. I see people wrapping themselves up in a lot of this stuff, but I also see genuine, realistic concerns about the future of YouTube, the viability of the platform. There are people who are like, realistically are pivoting, thankfully, and thinking about their brand in a bigger context, because they don't know if YouTube is financially viable over the next 5 years, generally speaking. So, like, I really believe that people are overcommitted in YouTube, and I'm genuinely concerned that the content treadmill, the changes in the algorithm, the way their audience responds. I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say this. If you when you subscribe to somebody, do me a favor. Like, first of all, cull through your subscriptions, see who you're subscribed to, and make a real effort to try to subscribe to or be subscribed to people that you're going to watch. Like, if you're not going to watch people's content and you're not going to like watch even like the majority of the content they're putting out, and try to watch their content. If you see creators and you follow certain people, follow them in Twitter, set notifications, do whatever, and if they put content out, please watch it the first day that the content comes out. Please, if you're going to bother to subscribe to somebody, watch their content the day that it comes out, please. And if you're going to subscribe to somebody, please watch their content, and please watch like 1 or 2 videos from them whenever you hit their channel. Please do that. Like, because that helps them, and it makes a difference in the algorithm. It makes a difference in YouTube promoting them. So if you're going to be bothered to subscribe to somebody, watch a video from them at least for, like, a few minutes. And if you can watch a second video and you don't have something to do right now, watch a second video from them, especially if it's their shorter stuff. Please do that. If you're going to subscribe to somebody, watch their videos. If you're not going to watch their videos, unsubscribe to them, because you're just hurting their numbers. So just unsubscribe to people you're not going to watch, because a subscribe, if you're not going to watch, doesn't support them. It hurts them. If you're not going to watch their content and you're going to be subscribed to them, you're just kind of hurting, you're hurting them more than you're helping them at that point. And so just unsub. If you are subscribed to somebody, do me a favor, watch their content. If you enjoy what you're watching, share their content, and just do that, because it would go a long way. It would help them a lot more if when they do something, you actually support it. And if they're doing something that they wouldn't normally do, and it's still dope, then please try and support it, even if it's not what they normally do, so that they feel like they have the freedom to experiment. Because people kill their creativity because their creativity isn't being supported, because we decide, oh, well, we only want this from you, and then they get pigeonholed and they never do. Like, I mean, if I wanted, like I said, if I was really, really concerned with the growth and health of this channel and keeping this channel healthy, I would just pander to the whims and taste of what the data says my audience wants the most of, and I would never do anything else, and I would never answer and make videos that are any of the questions that you guys ask for, or do any of that. I would just do what I know will get 100,000 views within a year, or 10,000 views in the first week, or in the first day, or whatever. If I was really concerned more with keeping this channel healthy and alive, I would not make videos when you guys ask me to, or I would not answer questions in the video. I would just make the videos that the data has said people will watch tens of thousands of these videos, and I will get a 10% view to sub ratio on these videos or better. I would literally only make that content and not do anything else if I cared about the health and well-being of this channel. So if you don't want creators to essentially sell out or kill their soul, and if you don't want the soul of YouTube to die and for bad content to be what's promoted, then it's on you as a viewer to support creators and to watch their content. And when they do stuff that's outside of the normal, if it's cool and you like it, support it. If you think you know someone who would like it, support it, share it. Like, actually watch the people you're subscribed to and subscribe to people you plan to watch. Otherwise, just unsubscribe. And yeah, it does help to even watch their old content or whatever. Like, and if YouTube's not notifying you, like, subscribe to follow these people on Twitter and put on notifications or whatever, or just come back and check their channel every day. Just come back and check their channel every day. Like, I'm being dead serious here. Like, I'm being very real. If you want creators to stick around, and you want them to keep doing original content, and you want them to keep, doing stuff, you have to support it. You know, that's all. You have to support it. Because, you know, otherwise, they're just going to get discouraged. They're going to feel like, why do they keep, you know, trying? And, like, you know. So, you know, just do that. Do me that favor. All right? Anyway, guys, I'm super tired. It's been like 3 hours and some... Oh, my God, it's 3.5 hours. I can't do that anymore. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Thank you again, everybody, for the super chats. Thank you for everybody who sponsored. Remember to check out the resource links in the description down below. Remember to check out awesomecreatoracademy.com. You guys have a good night wherever you are. Go out there and create something awesome today. Take care.